So hello, everybody. It is me, Demetra K, and it is the Demetra K Show because it is Sunday. I'm also sitting here with Donovan, the recovering Democrat Sadiq, where we promote Black love, knowledge, and an understanding, I should say, of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people. I'd like to say hello to Big Giant. Welcome to YouTube and Facebook, the other side of the conversation. You all are not just viewers, but you are participants. Because we try to, I have to emphasize try, because I'm not getting really good at it lately because there's more and more people coming to the chat, and that's a good thing. But we try to read each and every one of your comments because we feel like you should be heard too. Also like to thank Marcus Guyton. Forgot to tell him again for everything that he does for Facebook and making the show go further. And so, Donovan, before I get started, I want to tell everybody that we are talking, and for those of you guys that celebrate Easter, I don't. Happy Easter if that's your thing. But we are talking about the Democratic Party needs a resurrection. So anyway, before we get started with that, Donovan, what say you?
Yes. Welcome to the Demetra K Show, you guys. Good to see you guys on Sundays. I know you guys could be out there at Applebee's and, doing your little restaurant with the family and, doing the Easter egg hunt with the kids and all that other stuff at the park, enjoying life. I mean, so you guys have chosen to spend your time with us. Please do us a favor, though. Like, share, subscribe, and even become a member of the channel. And also, if you are wondering, we are on all platforms that provide podcasting experience. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Spreaker, you name it, we're on there. So do us a favor, hit that like button. It also helps in the algorithms. And if you so desire, it is Easter. We have a Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, and all those other things to help the channel keep moving forward. So again, this is going to be an interesting topic. And as a Catholic, I would like to tell all my fellow Christians out there, happy Easter. I did not go to service like I should have, but Jesus is wonderful. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Are you sure you didn't go to Easter service? Because that suit tells otherwise.
Well,
a whole Easter egg sitting up there.
Yeah. I didn't go, but you know what? I think there's an evening service I can go. So after we get done here, I'll probably go to the evening service.
Yeah, tell them, forgive me, Father, I have sinned again. So anyway, I like to say hello to everybody who was in the chat. We got Moni, I ain't forgot your videos. Beverly, what's going on with you? You say let them crash and burn. Okay. And yes, again, Moni, happy Easter to you. And Sublime Prince, how you doing? He says, I'm in disagreement already. Dems need to be relegated to a dustbin and forgotten. Okay, well, we're going to get into it. One who cares, how you doing? Let's see who else we got on here. Robin, Lightweight, how you doing? And welcome. Thunder, what's going on with you? Facts Not Feelings, how you doing? And Godspeed, you says, I will be doing a protest vote for Republicans this year. And if Black people don't get tangibles before 2024, I will be doing it again. Enough is enough. I know that's right. Tracy, how you doing? Rain Love, what's going on? Herbert, Mr. Joyce, how you doing? You say, yeah, I know. He says, you live. Okay, so Herbert says that he will stream this show for us on a radio station in Memphis, Tennessee. So we love and appreciate you for that. Thank you so much. And Obvious Truths, how you doing? It says, unleavened bread. Okay, so is that what people supposed to be eating on Easter? I don't know. I'm so out of touch. It's ridiculous. And the Pioneer, how you doing? And Rain says, yes. He says, like the Whig Party. Yes, indeed. And Supernova, how you doing? Shalom to you as well. And Tawana, hello, how you doing? So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. All right, so the title says, the Democrats need a resurrection. Well, why might they need a resurrection? I thought I tied into it being Easter Sunday. You guys know, allegedly, this guy named Jesus rose on the third day after being crucified on a Friday evening, and then he rose again on Sunday morning, which I don't know if that's technically 3 days. I'm not really good at math, but something tells me that's not quite 3 days, but that's not even why I'm here. So I thought I tied into the Resurrection Sunday. Everybody, for the most part, went to church except for Donovan. Went to church and having an Easter ham and all of that, and having a good time with the family. Okay, great. So let's talk about this Democratic Party to which Black people pledge for the most part, right? I think it was like 80, almost like 90-some% of Black voters pledged their loyalty to the Democratic Party last election season for the presidential election and all of that. And so we just do, right? And we know that the Democrats cannot do anything without us. They just will not be in office. I don't care which office it is. They need Black people. All right, so let's talk about a couple of things that's been going on around the country, specifically with Black people. As you guys know, there was a young man by the name of Patrick Loyola. I hope I said his name right, RIP. He was shot and murdered by the police officers in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Okay, so, horrible, and they're protesting. It sounds like he was murdered on April 4th. They released the tape on April 13th, which is my birthday. And then everybody was kind of like, wait a minute, you shot this man in the back of his head, and it sounds like he was on his knees, and face down. So it doesn't sound like it was too much of a threat. They're saying they've been police officers that he was reaching for his taser. And I just accidentally saw the video. I was not trying to see it because I'm traumatized enough. And I saw it, and the officer cold-bloodedly shot him in the back of his head, and they tried to justify it. And of course, they're protesting there. Okay, where are the Democrats, right? Now I'm sure they've said something here and there, nothing major. All right, so let's move along. So if you guys are following the news everywhere, the Democratic Party, y'all remember when George Floyd was murdered by that of Derek Chauvin, and they were talking about we need to defund the police, and enough is enough, and we're gonna take this money and do that. Everybody except for the Biden administration, right? Biden was pretty solid on I'm not defunding the police, but a lot of other people were. Couple of places in the country they did defund the police. You guys remember? Oh, hold on a second. I dropped my mic. Give me one moment. When I'm too much. One moment. Okay. So there's a place in Seattle. They took over downtown, right? It was hijacked because everywhere in the country, they were protesting and marching due to what happened to George Floyd. And I guess it was like white people and some hippies and stuff like that. They took over the downtown area of Seattle for months, right? And the mayor is like, well, what do you want me to do? And so somehow finally they took it back. Okay, so.
And the female Black police chief resigned.
All right, so some places defunded their police departments. All right, so now we're hearing the Democratic Party saying, well, you know what? Maybe we don't need to defund them. In fact, let's throw more money at the police. So they're calling it a refund the police department. So specifically in Los Angeles, there's a hotly contested race for mayor, right? And so a lot of those candidates are talking about throwing more money at the police. One of the candidates, and his name slips my mind, forgive me, he says, well, let's throw $150 million more at the LAPD. Now, anybody who lives anywhere in the country, you guys know the LAPD are like a gang in and of itself. They are a horrible outfit, as most police departments are, but LAPD specifically. So why do they need more money to do more of the same of, brutalizing Black people and all of that? Okay, so we're talking about, from senators, the mayors, the city council people, Democrats, right? They're talking about throwing more money at the police. Okay, we know that the Congressional Black Caucus, they basically are for everybody except for Black people, right? Now, I did a story on the African Diaspora News Channel. You guys can go check that out, where I did a compare and contrast of several caucuses' mission statements. I did one of the Asians, Hispanic, LGBTQ, and the women's, and I did the CBC, the Congressional Black Caucus, and the other one said, well, we're going to make sure our demographic, their group is taken care of. We are representing women, LGBTQ, Hispanics, Asians, right? That's the group we're representing. But if you go to the CBC, the Congressional Black Caucus, they say that they are advocating on behalf of African Americans and other marginalized people. That is their wording. And so if you think about it, the other groups are marginalized groups of people. So why do they need the CBC to advocate for them even more, right? Sounds like they got this stuff together, but somehow our Congressional Black Caucus wants to help everybody else. In fact, they have helped everybody else but Black people. Now, I ain't talking about the little things like, oh, we're getting the Crown Act and the Emmett Till Anti-Lynching Act and those. Then I'm not trying to minimize them, but those don't really help us as Black people move the ball forward, because how in the hell do you know if your employer is discriminating against you about your hair, right? Are they going to say, oh, boom, Quisha, we don't like your afro, therefore you can't work here? Or are they going to make something up and sidestep the fact that it's your hair, right? So the point that I'm making is that stuff is symbolism. It is symbolism, not really tangibles. What are we asking for as Black people? We are asking for reparations. We want our ancestors' hard work, labor, and all the horrors that they experience. We want to be paid for that, right? As it said, it is going to take Black people 232 years to catch up to the wealth of white people without that money. So for people saying, well, there's other ways to do it. Yeah, there's stuff we should be doing as Black people, but we need our money. We need our money to close that wealth gap. And the other thing is we have the Biden administration. Well, what did he say when he clinched the nomination the election from Trump? He says, Black people, you stood by me, I'm going to stand by you.
I meant your necks. I meant I'm going to stand by your necks.
Huh?
He meant I'm going to stand on your necks, but go ahead.
Oh, so Black people, has he stood by us? Now, I didn't vote for him, right? But I'm saying in general, because he even said, I know there's a lot of people who didn't, were against me, but y'all stood by me, I'm standing by. So has he stood by Black people? He has not. He has stood by everybody else, specifically besides Black people. We don't want symbolism. Ketanji Brown Jackson is killed, but how does that help all of us? It really does not. Like I said, the Emmett Till Act is cute, but isn't lynching already Capital One murder? Aren't you already supposed to get in trouble if you murder somebody? Juneteenth, hallelujah. I mean, it's a capitalistic holiday. Another one of them to put on the books because they know Black people, we celebrate everything, including Groundhog Day. And so they gave us another holiday so we can go spend more money and put it into the hands of white corporations. So you ask yourself, does the Democratic Party need a resurrection? Now, I'm not talking about, they need to go in there and fix it and do right by Black people. I'm saying they need to resurrect their ass out of those seats, and we need to help them do that when it comes to the midterm elections. That is on us at this point, right? We know everybody, it's not just Black people, but everybody usually gets wrapped up into the presidential election. Oh, gosh, we got to go to the polls and stuff. But we forget about the senators. We forget about the city council people, the mayor. Donovan just went through an election in his city. Donovan, how many people total in a city of over 200,000 people? How many people voted?
Okay, we had a special election. So for a certain district, there's over 208,000 people in my city. In my district, there are 19,000, almost 20,000 people eligible to vote. In this special election, less than 2,000 people voted. Less than 1,500 people voted. That's about 6% of the people eligible to vote actually voted and decided who's going to sit on that seat.
So less than 6% of the people voted. And so the point that I am making.
Okay, and real quick, if it was a general election, the overall city for the mayor, my city on averages 2% of the 19% of the population actually votes during a general election.
Got it. So the point that I'm making is we are very apathetic when it comes to the local elections, but they actually affect us the most, whether it's a judge, whether it's the sheriff, whether it's the city council, and all those things, right? So especially in our neighborhoods, they're usually ran by Democrats, right? So they need to resurrect their asses out of those seats, out of the diocese and all of that. And then when we come to 2024, we also need to send them a message because Joe Biden, which we're not surprised, right? They lie. That's what politicians do. They lie. But he stood up there and he pointed out Black people specifically because he knows he owes a debt and he still has not done that. In fact, we've seen Ukrainian people, 100,000 of them are going to come over here and get rich. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to set up in our neighborhoods and suck more money out of the Black community because they'll have a leg up. They'll get some sort of a reparations, right? And everybody else. And so it's up to us to give the Democratic Party the resurrection they so deserve. And lastly, I want to say this. You have Dianne Feinstein. She's a senator from California, has been there since 1992. She is 88 years old. They said she is losing her mind, that she's talking to people that she forgot she had already talked to and asking them questions and saying different things, don't even remember people's names. And she says, I'm not going anywhere.
So right. And they stripped her from her leadership position. So what does that tell you?
Right. So you ask yourself, how did she get there? Did Dianne get there because she walked up in the office on election day and said, no, y'all don't need to vote for me. I got it from here. Was she voted in? Yes, she was voted in. So that's on us, right? I'm just using her as an example, but there's a lot of other people that sit in Washington that are, and I don't want to get in trouble with ageism, but they need to go, right? So we're going to have a discussion about the Democratic Party having a resurrection, and we need to help them do that. So Donovan, what say you?
Okay, Pioneer, the bet is on. If Demetria gets to the bottom of these things, I got $5 on it. I got $5 on it.
Oh, I'll get to the bottom.
Yes. Real quick. When you were talking about Black people celebrating all these holidays, as if we like celebrating all these holidays, we love celebrating Labor Day, and a lot of us ain't working.
Oh, God.
You know, we love doing that. I want everybody to also not forget, when these Ukrainians get here, we also got to account the Black boule, because how many of your kids wanted to go to a HBCU, and because they didn't have enough money to pay for their dorm, they just fell short in some of their financing, they were asked to leave. But we got an HBCU, Hampton University, that's going to give Ukrainians free schooling, you know, for whenever. I don't know how long it's going to ask, but, you know, they're the first to jump on board with that stuff. But yet HBCU, which is supposed to be specifically for Black people, they don't do that for Black people. So we got to hold them accountable as well. So I'm glad you're bringing this up, Demetria, because in the end result, a lot of people are waking up. A lot of the older people are waking up, because the fact of the matter is, you can't defend it. You really can't defend. Give him time. Give him time. He only been in there a year. And we've been saying for a long time, the first 45 days he was in there, he had done most of everything he was going to do. So what has this man been doing for the last, 8-9 months? Nothing. Zero. He's shaking phantoms and looking lost. This, out of 26 Democratic nominees, this was the best we can do? Who is actually controlling Joe Biden? Ask yourself that question. Every time he says one thing, Jen Pataski says another. So, he didn't mean that. No. He's, this is his talking point, whatever. So, a lot of people are waking up, and I'm glad that they are. We've got to keep our foot on their necks. But Demetria, you've said it on this show. I've said it on the show several times. There are plenty of Black people in positions of power, mayors, police chiefs, Congress, and yet nothing has moved the ball forward in regards specifically to Black people. Right now, a young Black man was murdered, literally murdered. Nothing from Jim Clyburn. Stop sloganizing. Nothing is being said when a Black person is murdered, but you let Afghan, we got to help the Afghan kids, and we got to bring them over here because, they're going to get killed and slaughtered, when all that stuff is going on right here. So let's hear what you guys got to say, because you guys are the third wall. You guys are the third hosts. Again, thank you guys for joining us. And again, happy Easter. And please like, share, and subscribe.
Absolutely. So let's get to these comments. So where did I leave off? Pioneer says, I was late sitting back listening to some of Donny Hathaway's greatest hits, laugh out loud, and that's a lot. Yes, indeed. Very young when he left out of here, 33 years old, with all that talent. Kimmy, how you doing? And Cecil, what's going on with you? Says Shalom, family, Black first, Demetria K, Black first, Donovan, Black first, yes, indeed. And let's see here, James, how are you? Says Jesus was not even his name. Yes, we know that it was Yeshua, among other things, but that's what they call him nowadays, right? So that's
right. How many of you guys know what Jesus' last name was? They taught us this in Catholic school. Demetria, do you know?
I forgot.
Jenkins.
I was gonna say Nazarene.
His name was Jesus Jenkins.
Stupid. And let's see here. And Cesar says, Shalom, dear so-called black family. Okay, it says black first, and Demetra K, black first, and Donovan black first. I do not trust any person, place, or thing coming out of the Democratic or Republican government. Yes, indeed, throw the Republicans in there too. Pioneer says, funny how after all these decades on this planet, I recently discovered just who Donnie Hathaway even was. One of the smoothest voices, period. So, okay.
Oh, Demetra, let him have it. Let him have it.
Got my eye on you, Pioneer. Got my eye on you. So anyway, let's see here. Robin, if I didn't already, hello. He says he was executed, made his family get him justice. Yes, indeed. That's exactly what it was. Fat son, not my words. That's his name. How you doing? He says checking in from Mississippi. And Marcus, I am going to remember next time. Please forgive me. I love you though. If you guys are on Facebook and you're watching this and you want us to read your comments, click on the link and it'll bring you over to where I can see your comment. Moni says, Demetra, what day will you say that my videos will be on Tuesday? I know you told me, and Donovan said it would be Sunday, but I forgot it is Easter. Please do show them. Thank you. I'm a show one, but Moni, in all fairness, some of those videos are really graphic, and I don't want YouTube to shut me down.
Yeah, you don't want to get shut down or
I don't want to be shut down. I mean, I get it. It's very traumatic for you, but if y'all want us to be on here, I can't show a lot of those videos. They're very graphic. YouTube has a thing about blood and stuff like that. So anyway, and Cecil, he says it always ends up that we are always losing, and are never gaining, no matter whether the candidates are so-called black, so-called white, or whatever in between.
See, but Cecil, we can answer that real quick. When they ain't doing the work, stop voting them back in. Get them up out of there. Let them do their 2 years and get them up out of there. That's how you handle that. But the problem is we're so lazy in our thinking because we say, oh, it's a black person, so they're going to take care of me. That isn't how it's been working.
Absolutely. And Donovan, you say protesting does not work as long as you are protesting the police and the powers that be are not worried about you. Yeah, and they're currently marching there in Grand Rapids for the 4th day. And, hopefully they get something done, but we know how that goes. And Moni, she says, happy, beautiful Sunday, my handsome, gorgeous brown sugar. That makes my day, Donovan. I hope you always enjoy not just Easter, but the wonderful spring to come. Thank you for making a difference. Ooh. That's why you wore that red coat, huh, Donovan, from Moni. You look like a whole Easter egg, got the purple and red going on. Look at you.
Oh, you remember in Boomerang, Eddie Murphy had a little red jacket?
I see. It looked like you got that red jacket from 1992 or whenever it was. And James says, what happened after the protest is what matters. Yeah, but nothing ever happens after the protest. We just go home and say, okay, well, next time we'll meet again.
Yeah, and you never hear anything about the case or whatever. But see, because of technology and now and all these different platforms, we're keeping you informed of what happened to that case, or how the deposition of that case was. Because you got these politicians, oh, we're gonna get justice for y'all. Y'all go home. We got it. The State Department's gonna come in, and then they bury the case. But now people are following up and saying, oh, wait a minute, Amber Geiger, she's trying to try to get out early. She's trying to do this, whatever's happening. So big ups to the new black media.
Absolutely. And let's see here. And Cecil says, on anything or anyone in between, it is all manipulated in the end to serve white supremacy, the false idea of white supremacy. It is a false idea. And Martin says, immediately what happened, Demetra, that young man after he was shot, the Family Guy with Benjamin Crump ASAP, and they've been protesting and they're doing it right now as we speak, even though it's cold. Yes, that's what I understand. And the Pioneer says, I'm very familiar with the situation in Grand Rapids with Patrick Loyola's murder. I live in West Michigan, not too far from Grand Rapids. The entire region is amped up. So that's what I've been reading. And Pioneer, you also say the cop who killed the African brother had only been on the force about a month. Why was he out there by himself with no backup in the first damn place? Yeah. And it's like, when does a traffic stop mount to you murdering somebody?
Yeah. Even if the plate was the wrong plate, you couldn't get the VIN. You had the passenger, and there's VIN numbers on your car. Like it's on the engine, it's on the dashboard, and it's on the door. So you had all the elements you would to get this guy another time.
Yep. Brother Samuel, how you doing? He says, could you define the police? I think the expression misrepresents the meaning of the statement. So absolutely. So when they say defund the police, a lot of people think it's, we're going to just completely dismantle the police department, take all the resources out of there and do something else with it. So what it means to defund the police is take some of the resources and allocate it to programs that would help maybe prevent crime, like build things in the community. So basically to divert the money, right? But as I always say, because people get it messed up and thinking that Black people don't like the police. No, we like the police. But as I always say, we want the police service that they getting in Beverly Hills or in all the other great neighborhoods where white people and people with money live. We want that kind of service. We don't want these police officers y'all sending there feel like they got to subjugate Black people and, do the most and act as judge, jury, and executioner. We don't want those police officers. So that's what it means, is to divert some of the funds somewhere else and not give these police departments these overinflated budgets.
Yeah, and to add on to that real quick, a lot of cities in the Republican areas are starting to put mental health workers on a mental health call. So some of that police money is now being diverted to fund those mental health officers who will go out with the police department. And, and rather than the homeless person or somebody who's having a mental crisis being shot down dead, they're bringing those people to help, deal with the situation.
Absolutely. Lightweight. So there's another tactic to keep us down. And Moni says, Demetra, I sent you this new story the first day it happened. I'm sorry I sent it on your birthday, but happy wonderful birthday. I wish you that until May, you are not limited to a day. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Moni. And Thunder says, if the Dems want my vote, they can have it. But it's buried under a mountain of all the BS that they've given me. Dig around real good. It's in there somewhere. Dig slowly. You'll find it. I know that's right. And Robin says the Emmett Till act is a nothing burger. I read the whole thing. No specifics. Yeah, it's to make you feel good, right? And Amani says they're all really nervous here in Michigan with what's going on with this gentleman that was shot. Many of the Democratic leaders are looking for more investigation to happen. They are scared it's going to burn. What else do we need to see?
Yeah, have you noticed that there's been a lot of shootings and killings up north? You would think it would be in the South predominantly more, being that these people down there are more openly racist. But, I'm just looking at a pattern where you're seeing a lot of stuff happening north of the Mason-Dixon line, more so than what's going on in the South.
Yep. And Cecil says, under the rule of insane Joe Biden, especially all of these subway attacks, our government planned all of it. You might be on to something, brother. And Belinda, if I didn't already, how you doing? It says the Emmett Till bill will be used for the Rainbow Mafia. Yeah, I mean, anybody can be lynched, right? Like we know predominantly Black people were lynched. But anybody technically could be lynched. Let's just keep it real. And Jimmy, if I didn't already, hello, how you doing? He says, I haven't voted for Democrats in years. I never will again. D.L. Healy is awful quiet on Biden. Yeah, because y'all know he was one of the main ones singing the praises and talking crazy to people. But yeah, now he's just like, nothing. You're absolutely right.
He's probably getting some of that money.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure he is. And let's see here in Beverly. And you guys know I don't read the responses to each other just for time's sake. And Beverly says, Demetra and Donovan fire. Okay, well, thank you. And Robin says, people waking up. Yeah, people are definitely waking up. And I'll get into that just a little bit after I get down to these comments. And Cecil says, these mental cases like Frank James, quote unquote, has been saved, especially for these types of needed events. Set up by the government. These types are mental sleepers cells that can be triggered at any time. So you're talking about Frank James, the one that was in New York who did what he did on the subway. And it was found that he listened to quite a few people on YouTube. And he also had a YouTube channel that they took down that was, sound like it was pretty wild and crazy.
Remember in the 80s, wasn't there a white vigilante and all the white people were like, yes, he was right in what he was doing and da-da-da-da-da. You know what I mean? As long as he shot a Black person, it was perfectly fine.
Right. And Brother Samuel says, Biden stood by Black people, how most Black people, he says, stood, I think he must stand by the Bible. I think cut off. Says the Bible is on the shelf or table and we walk right by it. It's never going to it or through it. So so basically you're saying that people don't open it. But yeah, I get it. I think you may be driving.
yeah. And you know what? It's kind of crazy too, because you can go into the Bible or the Quran or whatever you believe in, whatever your book that you believe in, and the life applications in it actually are still relevant to this very day.
I'll let y'all have that conversation. And Rain, you say he's a racist with dementia. His long-term memory is good. He remembers his racist policies and hate against Black Americans. Yeah, I saw a video of him. He would just look like he was doing the robot in the room, just kind of walking around aimlessly. And it's like, y'all don't see your man's in there, just kind of like lost as to where he is.
Right. You know, and let me ask a question for the people real quick. I know we got to get to the comments. But with this rise in crime, do you think it is feasible that Joe Biden and the Democratic Party is going to use another crime bill to lock Black people up in a 2.0 scenario? What do you think, Demetra?
Absolutely. I can't remember it specifically, but it sounds like they're already talking about, getting tough as far as the guns and things like that. And so, yeah, of course. And let's see here. Herman, how you doing? He says, y'all miss Trump, don't you? Huh? I mean, it all depends on who you ask. And Thunder says, why don't we, like they did for George Floyd bill? Dems said, why don't we I think you meant what they did for the George Floyd bills, Dems. Why didn't you vote for us? It says us, we tried. We don't know what happened. It just didn't fall through. Maybe next time, but everything else, no problem. Yeah. And that's another thing, the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act, where they were supposed to get rid of qualified immunity, which now, if under qualified immunity, police officers are protected when they murder somebody, protected personally against their assets and all that being going after. And as we know now, the city usually pays a big amount of money to the family for their loved one being murdered, unjustly. So, yeah.
And real quick, Rain Love says Nancy Pelosi is aged out. Now, Nancy Pelosi was supposed to have given up the gavel in the last congressional term. For some reason, she mixed to stay. But how many of you guys heard Nina Turner, who is running again as a progressive, a real progressive? She was not even endorsed by the so-called squad or the progressives in Congress. So it seems the longer you stay in Congress, you become part of the system.
Absolutely. And Kimmy, yes, thanks for the reminder. If y'all can hit the like button while y'all in here, I love and appreciate you. Again, if y'all on Facebook and y'all watching this and you want me to comment, please click on the link, and I would love to do that if you have something to say. And Feeding Frenzy 91, how you doing? He says, hello all, God bless all. Back at you. And let's see here. And Respect Knuckles, how you doing? And Jacqueline, what's going on with you? Says greetings, Demetra, and greetings, Donovan. And Reggie, thank you so much. I'll put that up there for a minute so everybody can see it. Thank you so much. And Cecil says, I don't celebrate holidays. Yeah, me either. I actually forgot Easter was even coming up until the other day. You say none of them. And Obvious Truths, you say, need voter preparation, establish a clear-cut value system, a litmus test, consider spiritual internal consequences. Can you explain that just a little bit more as far as the spiritual and eternal consequences? And you also say, Cecil, Easter is just another holiday. Yes, it is very pagan. And the Pioneer says Caucasian. Y'all got to get clever where y'all spell stuff. It says are so technologically specific they can send a rover to Mars and drive it around the planet. You mean to tell me they don't know how to police a community without killing unarmed people? Well, first of all, you got to see the people that you're policing as people. They don't see Black people as people. They just really don't, right? So it's nothing to them. And Robin says Jenkins is a Black name. Talk about Jesus Jenkins. And Terry, how you doing? He says, I'm praying for you, Donovan. Jenkins, indeed. Laugh out loud. Yeah, he needs a lot of prayer. And Jane says, no, Jenkins is a white name. True. Laugh out loud. And Cecil says, yes, Caesar Borgia. I know he was going with that one. Says the son of the wicked popes in the Vatican. So that's actually who was supposed to be the depiction of Jesus. Is supposed to be Caesar Borgia. So, Pioneer say, you know what, Queen? I have been listening to his music since 1970, talking about Donny Hathaway. Says, but I didn't know who was making it. Says, I thought a lot of his music was actually done by Stevie Wonder. They sound similar. No, not really. They don't sound similar to me, but I'm glad that you are familiar that is Donny Hathaway's music. But yeah, he's very young when he left out here, 33 years old. He committed suicide. Unfortunately, he has schizophrenia. He jumped out of a window at his hotel.
But he left Lala.
Layla Hathaway is his daughter.
Layla Hathaway.
Layla Hathaway actually blocked me on Twitter because she was raccooning for the Biden administration. And I asked her a question and she didn't love. We had a little bit of back and forth. And when I touche'd her, she blocked me. So
right. Now,
music, though.
Yeah, real quick, Demetra, what sitcom did Donny Hathaway sing for?
Good Times?
No. Same Norman Lear situation.
What did the theme?
Maude.
Oh, I ain't watched that old white lady show.
Maude.
Okay. So Darius, how you doing? It says, by voting against your best Black interests and assuring that you will remain a permanent underclass. Good luck, simpletons. Okay, now. And Thunder says, with that young man being executed, if what happened with George Floyd happens again, there's no way the U.S. can't fight Russia and police a nationwide insurrection at the same time. You make a very good point. So what are they going to do about it? That's the question, right? And Torben, how you doing? He says, come on with your show. You are encouraging for some racially thing. We don't have that in Europe. So can you fill that comment out a little bit? Maybe I'm a little confused. I don't know exactly what you're saying, but welcome. I've never seen you here before. Pioneer says, the brother who was killed was from the Congo. Yes, says I work with quite a few Congolese, and except for one or two who actually knew him personally, we had to bring the actual incident to their attention. Yeah, because they said that it happened April 4th, and then I guess they released the tape on April 13th. So, Marnie says, in Michigan, when we started protest, it don't get stopped until we know how to court case, and they're already free. They're going to set it on fire, so they're very nervous. They don't act all brave. Okay,
right.
So
now, notice, Moni, in that you said something very, very telling. Why is it that when we get into the streets, stuff gets done? Have you guys noticed that?
But the problem is this. We got in the streets last time. I was even out there, and I don't even really like to be doing all of that. But when George Floyd was murdered, we was in the streets then. What happened? The old hats up in Washington says, we got it from here. Thank you, youngsters. We're going to go to Washington, and we're going to draft up these bills that we're going to pretend like we care about. And now they're sitting on the shelf somewhere collecting dust. So, yeah, we turn up, but then what, right? Like, we had the momentum. We had the ball in our court in 2020, and we allowed the Democrats and all the Negro leaders to quiet us down. So y'all tell me, Monet, how you doing? And Rain, you say Donovan is handsome for real. I'm bidding. I got a bid out on him. Y'all tell me how much you want. I'm giving y'all an Easter service special half price. I think we were at $5.72 last time. So, and Malik, how you doing? He says, Demon Party, burn it to the ground. All right now. And Kimmy says, yes, share this live, support this channel, leave comments after the live. Yes, I love and appreciate you for that. Thank you so much. And Brother Samuel, he says, in the words of Billy Preston, nothing from nothing leaves nothing. Yes, indeed. And Easy, how you doing? Says, good evening, Dee and Donovan. That shooting young man in Michigan, unjustified. But I want to touch on something we need to do. Okay, we are listening. I'm going to get to your other comment. Pioneer says, Easter is a modern European rendition of the ancient Caucasian celebration of goddess of Ishtar or Ishtar. Yes, indeed. And she is the goddess of fertility. And the eggs symbolize her, eggs, if you will, her being fertile. And the rabbit symbolizes sex. And so all that was stolen from Kemet, Egypt, ancient Egypt. So you're absolutely right. Herman, you say, can y'all say to blacks, just listen to police and deal with the rest in court? Don't agree with blacks being killed. So I'm glad you raised that comment because I agree with you, Herman. As I said on yesterday's show, I'm not one of those people to tell black people, no, you're right. You tell that police officer you have rights and I'll be damned if you ask me for my ID. Nah, comply so you don't die, okay? Stop listening to these people telling you got constitutional rights. You think those police officers care about you and your constitutional rights? You don't have no rights here. And they said to you a long time ago that any white man will respect. So the last thing those police officers want you doing with your black ass is being smarter than them and trying to tell them I got rights and you can't do this to me. Not saying that you don't have rights, you should, but to them you don't. So comply. Don't try to hash it all out there. And I'm not giving you this, because they're going to get it one way or the other, especially if they are bloodthirsty. Live to tell about it so you can tell your side of the story. You can make it home to your family, but don't be out there trying to be a smart ass, trying to go up against white supremacy when you are outnumbered.
Right. I'm going to have to disagree with that a little bit. I agree with you partially, but I disagree. What I'm saying is this. A lot of people don't know their rights. So if you don't know your basic rights and what you're doing, do not stand up to the police. So I will agree with you. If you don't know shit, you just don't know it. Don't even try it. But like somebody said, putting ourselves in these positions. Did that man know that that plate was over? We know what we're doing. We know what we're doing. No. I'm not saying it's. Let me finish. I'm not saying, what's right and what's wrong, but we know the positions we put ourselves in. Okay, you got caught. Okay, it's caught. Like you said, live another day. But with Herman, the thing is with the court system is this. Even going to court, we're not getting the justice we deserve. So again, I want everybody to live. But when somebody tells me, well, deal with it in court, as we've seen thousands of times, police reports are fabricated. The judge, the jury, the judge and the police and the district attorney, they all know each other. So, we're not even getting justice in the courts. So it's kind of a fine line. So I agree. You want to come home to your family. If you don't know your rights at all, I'm just going to say this to simplify it. If you get stopped by the police, the best thing you could do for yourself is remain silent, let them do what they're going to do, and live another day. But remain silent.
So then what part do you disagree with, brother?
Well, I disagree to say, well, we should just comply. If you know what you're doing, you don't comply with things. Okay. And the reason I say this is because in my military career, what do you think is going on in Russia? What do you think is going on in these banana republics? They comply because they're threatened with violence, and thus is the rise of a dictatorship. And that's the problem. When you know what you're doing and you know your rights, exercise them. But because let's face it, policemen do not know law. If it takes a lawyer 6 to 8 years, 4 to 6 years to go through law school, how does a policeman go through an academy in 6 months and expect to know the same exact laws that are on the books and at least the basics of what a lawyer knows? They don't. So why match wits with unwits, if you know what I'm saying? But I agree. Comply if you don't know what you're doing. But if you do know what you're doing, do not comply and then hash it out in the courts and don't let them get away with it. Because too many times we let these race soldiers arrest us and put us in there, and we don't follow up and hold them accountable.
You literally said exactly what I said. Literally.
No, I didn't, because you said just comply. I'm saying no, comply if you don't know what the hell you're doing. If you know what you're doing.
Okay, let me, y'all, I promise you I'm going to catch up to these comment sections, but I cannot let this go unchecked simply because he jumped in with his red coat like he was going to tell me something, and he said exactly what I said. And then one thing you said, brother, was a lot of times these police officers don't know the law. Well, brother, if they don't know the law, you think they gonna let you tell them the law? They're not going in there with the knowledge of the law. They're going in there with subjugation and Negro. I'm over you. I'm a race soldier. I'm the patty roller. You gonna do what I say do. I don't give a damn if you know the penal codes and all of that. Comply and do what I say do. Now, that's why I said I have a problem with that, because we got to be careful. I know we supposed to have rights, but we don't have rights as Black people in America. And to tell when you coming across somebody who is adverse. Hell, most of those police officers, when they come up to a window of a black man or even a black woman, they got their finger on the trigger already. So the last thing they want your black ass to do is talk about, well, I know my rights and you don't know what you know. And then get your ass to the court. Even if you don't win that court case, at least you're going to make it to the court. But don't try to argue with those people on the spot. Yeah, I can see you can say, officer, what is the problem? Well, I see you were speeding. Okay, well, I don't think I was. You gonna get the ticket more than likely. Yeah. Don't argue with those people. Go home, make it alive. That's right. What
if you don't know what you're doing, because again, if you guys wait, if you guys don't know what you're doing, there's a video of me downplaying police officers at an event. They had police officers that came to my house and said, I got to comply with this, comply with that. Because I know a little bit of the law, I stood the whole police force down. Simple as that. If you don't know what you're doing, do not engage. But if you do know what you're doing, because what it is if you do know what you're doing, you know a little bit about the law, you are looking at a major lawsuit if the police do not do what they're supposed to do. Now, Demetrius talking about these guys that come in and they just ready to fire and get you killed. Don't put yourself in that position.
I'm gonna keep reading these comments because Donovan and I can go back and forth all day long. Okay, so
hey, I'm a witness. I've stood policemen down because I knew what I was doing.
You're an anomaly.
Exactly. So I knew what I was doing.
All I'm saying is don't pump these people up. It's like, well, I did it, you can do it too.
No, that isn't what I said. What did I say? If you know what you're doing, if you know what you're doing, stand up for your rights. That's why these other countries, there's rises of the dictator.
Let me get to these comments, brother. Let me get to these comments because we're behind. Okay, so let's see here. Easy says, stop putting ourselves in these situations and giving them the reason to take us out. Okay. And Kiana, how you doing? It says the police are doing what it was designed to do, period. Queen Nile, how you doing? It says Demetria K. Queen and the King on her show. Salute and welcome. And I hope I'm going to say this right. As Thesis, I know I jacked that up. But welcome. It says American policing is broken and need to be replaced by a national system such as a system that Germany has. Top echelon brass will still get their money and just deflect the cuts downstream. And let me finish, Donovan, because I got to get to the comments. And the Pioneer says Ishtar was a fertility goddess of the ancient Canaanites. The Caucasians probably adopted her worship when they invaded the area of Canaan under the term children of Israel. You're absolutely right. Vaughn, how you doing? It says, hello, Demetria and Donovan. I was MIA for a while. Now I am happy to be back with the family. Yes, indeed. And welcome back. And Torben, you say, stop about black or white people. We are all people. Your problem or you're talking black or white. Well, I'm going to just really address this really quick. The problem, I don't know how you define it as a problem that black and white is the problem. No, the problem is racism. And we as black people did not start racism. We are the victims of racism. And so for us to try to pretend that we live in this utopian society where black and white people get along and we're all arm in arm, I tell you what, I can buy your argument when I have as much money as white people do. When black people catch up to the wealth of white people, then I might be able to say we're all one happy family. But until then, and until the police officers stop murdering my people wholesale, I might be able to buy your argument. But until then, we're going to talk in the terms of black and white because that's the way it is. Jacqueline, you says, I think that as a community, black folks are slowly waking up to the deceptions that Democrats have previously been successful in by not fulfilling the promises they have made to us. Absolutely. And people are waking up like, nah, we're not falling for the banana in the tailpipe. Pioneer says the true name of the character Jesus was based on the name Yahshua. Yes, indeed. And Herman says, I agree with you, Torben. Okay. And Isaac, how you doing? He says, wow. And Tip Tops, how you doing? He says, Bernard, get goats. He says, was the subway vigilante and Gets. Okay, got it. Sorry about that. It says December 22nd, 1984. So you're talking about what Donna was talking about. And Robert, how you doing? It says, hey, Queen Demetria, what's up, recovering Democrat? And Terry, he says, we don't miss Trump. He didn't do anything for black people either. If you're talking about which devil we prefer, then we prefer Trump. And some of us voted for him with Biden. He says, SO predators and he said, R ID as trans. Okay, got it. Yes, so I'm with you on the whole Trump thing. They're both, evil, but he asked us to vote for the lesser two evils, and that would have been Trump if you did the math. And Cecil says, Trump or Biden, they are the same. One is putting on the front, the other one is showing his behind. Yes, indeed. And Donovan says, how many of you know Nina Turner was also, you said that already, endorsed by the progressive wing of the Democratic Party? The squad has bought in a long time ago. Kiana says the squad stabbed Nina in the back once they used her. And Cecil says Trump and Biden, they're all the same. One is showing his front aggression. The other one is just showing his behind. And Torben, he says, is this, I think he meant YouTube. So you're on Facebook, but I'm also on YouTube if you want to come over there and join the conversation. There's a lot of comments over there. Thunder says Juneteenth Hip Hop Month, Crown Act, Maya Angelou on the coin, a Black female Supreme Court justice within a year. They must know we are fed up. They're running scared, but still refuse to do right by us. You better believe it.
Well, no, we've got the backbone of the Democratic Party, the Black woman. Woohoo!
Again, the Black man was right behind the Black woman, and y'all was only off by a couple of percent in voting for the Democrats too. Let's keep it real.
Absolutely.
And Belindy says, I'm in the Cleveland area. Nina Turner is a plantation mammy. I didn't want to say it, but I have heard that. So I'm gonna let y'all talk about that in the comments section. And Snuggles, you got the eyeballs going on. How you doing? And Torben says, is this an interview? No, we're actually having a discussion, what we do on Sundays, every Sunday at 5 o'clock Central Time. And Obvious Truly says, people of faith presumably seek eternal life, must consider whether party agenda policies oppose moral authority, biblical commands. No, I got what you're saying there, but I would say most Black people who are Democrats profess to be Christians, right? So, I mean, there's some sort of a conflict there as well. And Kimmy, he says, Trump does have a sense of humor, much more than Biden, but Trump has said many stupid things as well. Oh, yes. And Facts Not Feeling says, there it is. And you also say, you can't fight overseas war and war at home at the same time. Yes, very, very big conundrum there. And Thunder says, that shooting was strange. Too many inconsistencies. All that shooting, no deaths. Cameras were down. He walked away and they took him. And Facts Not Feeling says, can't leave the streets until the bills is passed. Yep. Yeah, there you go. And Thunder says, alive. And Robin says, nothing substantial comes from protesting. We need bills and legislation. Yep. And Terry says, when we take it to the yes. And Terry says, when we take it to the streets, we cost them money. Yeah, but we need not to let up, right? And Pioneer says, Donnie Hathaway sung for Maude. He may have written the lyrics, but that certainly doesn't sound like him singing. And then there's Maude, anything but compromising. Right on, Maude. Laugh out loud.
That was him. I mean, he's singing in the background. Yeah, he wrote that for Maude.
And let me try to get your name right. Aesthesis.
Yeah, it's almost like Aesthesis 7.
Aesthesis. Okay. Well, I hope I came close. Thank you, Donovan. He says, hey, Donovan, did you know that they did endorse Nina in 2021?
No, actually, my understanding is they went with that clown chick that was a former council member, and they poured a bunch of money into her thing to beat Nina Turner, because Nina Turner was like, I'm not having it. But
yeah, she's a black woman as well, right? Mm-hmm. And Moni says, I had to cut the phone off and cut it back on whenever you go speaking the truth. YouTube will start slowing down your messages. Oh, tell me what you did. Will you do the shows or videos be Tuesday? It'll probably be Sunday so everybody can see it. But like I said, some of your videos are a little bit on the graphic side and I cannot show them on YouTube. Darius, he says, thanks for always. He says, thanks for acknowledging my comments, sis Kay and brother Sadiq. Thank you both for your honorable and righteous words and actions. May the Most High be you and your loved ones always.
Demetra, that name, what movie is that?
Which one?
Darius, what movie? One of the greatest Black modern love movies of all time.
Love Jones?
Love Jones. Darius Lovehall. Darius Lovehall.
Yes. Dark Skin Brother 3. I like that. You said, Dems are done. No reparations, no Black vote. Same goes for Republicans. Yep, but we don't expect for the Republicans to do it, right?
But the thing is, dark skinned brother, it's them old niggas you got to look out for.
Wow. You also say we aren't even human when it comes to cops. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Boy, I tell you. Kiki, how you doing? I got backup finally. He says, hey, fam, happy Easter Resurrection Day if you acknowledge it. If not, just hello. He says, hi, Queen Demetra. Hello, Sir Donovan. Looking quite dapper in that red today. I'm late, but I'm here. Yes, indeed. He's looking like a Easter egg bunny or something. And how do we say this again? Astisis. You said
I would say it's astisis.
Astisis. Okay.
Yeah, astisis 7.
He says
yeah,
you are correct.
7.
I think he said maybe we said it right. Okay. Yeah. And then our obvious truth says, Judge, don't even care about constitutional rights. Exactly. And our Astisis, you says, and outgunned. Yep. And James, you say, who is representing us after the protest? That's the problem. We need better representation.
James, wait a minute. How dare you ask that question? Reverend Al will be out there. Maxine Waters, all the usual folks that show up to get a paycheck. They're all like Roland, Bowling Ball, Martin, all of them.
You know what? Y'all be asking me to watch The Black Authority. And at first, I could not sleep last night. He just happened to come up on my timeline. And he was taking Roland Martin to task. When I tell y'all I was busting up, I was rolling. I was so funny. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, because Roland called them out and told them, are y'all going to be, helping the votes of it? And so the Black Authority was like, I had to pull up.
But this particular thing, Roland got him a copyright strike on one of his videos, and YouTube reversed it. And so he says, now I'm going all in. So it's very funny. Robert says that guy was executed by the police. His father said in a press conference that he never thought something like this would happen in America. Yeah, because as y'all say, he is straight from the motherland.
Yeah, he's from the Congo. I mean, with all the executions and stuff that goes on, I'm not saying he should be used to it, but welcome to America, brother. This is what we've been telling you.
Yes, indeed. Facts, not feelings. You said, Demetra, I disagree with that analysis, and I'm sorry. Tell me what it is, and I'm going to get to the bottom of the comment.
Get home to your kids. Get home to your kids.
Gotcha. Pioneer says the early Caucasians lived in caves and mountains in a cold environment. They didn't have heat and didn't want to have sex until the weather got warm, which is right around Easter time. That's another adaptation.
When I went to survival school and you're in a winter situation, sex is the best time to stay warm because your body temperature moves up. And I learned that when I went to survival school.
Absolutely, I guess. I don't know. I think some people don't care what the weather's like. And Queen, now you say, why aren't the Congolese immigrants out in the streets raising hell against right wings? You said RWS says why? He says they don't all wait on us, foundational Black Americans, to raise hell on the streets. So I mean, you make a very good point. And Vaughn, you say facts. And Easy says he should have never gotten out of the car when asked to get back in the car. He should have complied.
Absolutely.
And facts not feeling say nah. And Pioneer says our sister Queen is right. It was us. And facts not feeling says things like this leads to civil war eventually. Like what? I'm sorry. And you say Terry says you're preaching to the choir when speaking with me. Screw using the justice system. I give them a chance, but then I'm coming later if nothing is done. I have no problem with vigilantism. There you go, Terry. Facts not feeling says do not comply with cops. Okay, says they plant evidence. And comment, it says I think it cut off. And James says survive the encounter and fight that shit in court. And then
wait, but James, let me ask this quick question. How do you fight in court if you don't even have the money to attain a lawyer? How are you going to do it?
Would you rather worry about that after you survive the encounter? I mean, it's like to me, I think that's I get what you in fact not feeling how you doing. Love you. Donovan, not so much. I'm just kidding. I get what y'all saying, but y'all arguing backwards like, well, the court is listen. If the cops are gonna plant something on you, don't you think they will probably even take your life too? So to talk about I get the not comply things as much as you can. Yeah, you can't search my car, but what do they say? Well, we have probable cause. And so when have you saying I don't want you to search my car ever worked? Honestly, it's been rare.
Well, driving is a privilege and not a right. So when you have your registration and stuff, it's actually on there. They can ask you to come out of the car. They can do all of that because it's a privilege, not a right. So again, know what you're doing. Know what you're doing. Just because you're in your car and it's your car, it's not your house, it's your car. They can ask you to vacate your car. That's just a fact. That's the law.
Yes, indeed. And
the
in fact,
black men, stand up. Stop listening to these women. When the village is attacked, we are to stand up. Well, and if it's going to cost us our lives, it costs us our lives.
All right. Well, y'all want us to be quiet, and we're gonna sit at home when when y'all need somebody's out there marching for y'all when they do what they do. You guys go ahead, bro. Wait. Because you said something. You said a word right there, brother. It should be y'all on the front lines anyway. So we need to see our little pretty selves at home, file our nails, and say, "Oh, I'm gonna pray for you, honey. Go make it do what it do."
Absolutely. We're in agreement there because, again, it costs something. Do you think Martin Luther King's mom and his dad wanted him to be shot down in the streets, or Malcolm X's family wanted him to be shot down? Wanted to be shot down in the streets? It's going to cost something. The worst thing our women are doing is telling black men not to stand up because it's their son.
What we're not going to do here, and I'm going to get back to these comments, and I'm going to read them really super fast because I want to get about what we're not going to do is deflect and blame this on black women, because that conversation is really, wait. Nope. That is a red herring.
No, I'm not blaming black women.
It is a red herring from hell when we are arguing that stop arguing with these police officers and all this other stuff. Make it alive to the court as much as possible. That's what we're saying. But we're not going to deflect and saying black women don't want black. No,
I didn't say that.
That's an orange conversation.
I didn't say that. See, do you see how these women just interpret something totally different? I never said that.
Get them, y'all. Get them. And Sublime Princess says, "Hey, DK." And Herman says, "I agree, but you still alive. I have a dash cam to help for made up stories from the police." And it's really getting to that point. The Pioneer says, "Our sister Queen now is right. It was us Afro-Americans who had to raise sand and make a lot of noise to bring this incident to national attention and get out in the streets, not the Congolese." Well, yeah, I mean, that's a good question. Where are they? And as this is, I know I said that wrong again, says, if you don't comply when facing racist, fascist cops, you're going to get shot. Oh my God, why don't we understand that? In fact, my feeling says many people want blacks to comply with their own dictatorship. You're going to comply or you may die. It really is to that point. So, I mean, y'all do what y'all want. I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to be sitting there. But let me tell you something, Mr. Ossifer. Now, I ain't going to do that, because I got people who want me to come home, whether I come home after doing a stint, and getting locked up or whatever. They want me to come home. So I don't have a point to prove to that degree. That's all I'm saying. And Deadshot, how you doing? And Sunlight, I'm glad you showed up to the chat, girl.
Okay, I gotta go. Sunlight is here. Yes, I must leave now.
Brother Joe Nail, too. I'm glad you here.
I must leave now. Sunlight has arrived.
And Kiki says it depends, because there are some police officers who overstep their boundaries. True. Says, do people know that women have been raped and sexually assaulted by police officers? So we can't sit here and pretend like there aren't bad cops out there. Absolutely. And Robert says Philando Castile complied, and look how that turned out. Exactly. He didn't even really get a chance to do that all the way, right? I mean, he was just in the passenger seat and the officer shot him and got away with it. Imagine if he would have argued. Fact Not Feeling says Donovan is right. And Sublime Princess says, laugh out loud. Exactly. In fact, Not Feeling says, do not comply with your oppression. It's your choice, really, at the end of the day. Pioneer says the police may not know as much as a lawyer, but most of them aren't stupid at all. They don't have to know all of the law, just enough to do their duties. They have been empowered to arrest and kill. Thank you.
Pioneer, do you know 6 months of an academy, at least here in California? And the sheriffs and the regular police go to the same academy, whatever region they're in, CHP, they all go to the same academy. Out of 6 months of being in the police academy, they spend 10 hours on law. 10. That's it. So no, they don't know what they're doing. They don't.
So, but y'all want black people out there arguing with police officers after they done got 10 hours of training and they think they know it all. And y'all want them out there arguing with them. Okay.
No, that isn't what I said. If you don't know what you're doing, you don't know what you're talking about, don't argue with them. Make it home. Now, it's been a fact, as you know, Demetra, I have stood down the police because I knew what I was doing.
That's Not Feeling say stay silent. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Stay silent. I mean, I agree with that. And Thunder says they will use the man as the new Willie Horton. Yes, to usher in a new crime bill. And if you don't know who Willie Horton is, look him up. And the ad they ran, absolutely, I think it was a Bush administration who ran on that Willie Horton being a very bad person. I think he got out of jail and he murdered and did some other stuff. I don't want to say right here what he did. And you're right. They're going to use the guy in New York as, okay, now we really need to crack down because stuff is getting out of hand. But, there was another mass shooting. Was it in Colorado or something? Like yesterday or something?
Yeah,
and we didn't really hear a whole lot about that. So
wait a minute, though. Corn Pop was a bad dude. Corn Pop.
That's what Joe Biden said. Facts Not Feelings says, do not consent to any searches. Well, you got to kind of know, like Donovan said, the same rules don't apply in your house and the car. They're going to come up with probable cause. We have
in the car, they can search you without even asking. They don't need your permission. They can search your car.
Just don't have nothing in the car. I can tell you that much. And Sublime Prince says, that's right. And Terry says, facts, Demetra, I have decided that I'm practicing 2A and it's for police as well. If they're pulling guns, I'm taking one or more of them with me. Be careful on here, girl. He says, I'm not going to down begging for my life from them. And there's a lot
Terry
of people
must be a double Muslim.
A lot of people are coming to that conclusion. And Isaac, if I didn't already, hello, how you doing? He says, facts, queen. And Terry says, we'll explain it on that side. I know that's right. And Astissus, oh, sorry, I'm saying it wrong.
Astissus 7, just go Astissus 7. Forget the E.
Astissus 7, there you go. Yeah. Says exactly, Demetra. Comply to live. Debating with the police on the street will lead to possible death. Yes, and
keep a body. Every Black person should have a body cam on their person. You can get them from Amazon for $6. Small little body cam. That's all you need.
It's really come to that point. I mean, you got a cell phone, but a lot of times, they try to stash the cell phone and, go live, I guess, at best, right?
And then let the police know you're live streaming. That way it'll go to the cloud. Yeah. Or they think it'll go to the cloud. And then you'll see how they act different when they know they're being recorded.
Yes. And Sal Rita, how you doing? You said you must see this video before it's deleted. Okay. What video is that? I'm scared to ask. And Jason, how you doing? He says, I agree with Donovan. Okay. And Marty says, I agree with Donovan. If you don't have no other recourse, you have to comply. This young man in Michigan attempted, but then the officer kept wanting to put his hands on him like a scary coward. Yeah. So that's the other thing too. They know they ain't supposed to be putting their hands on you, but they do it anyway, right? They don't even tell you why they're arresting you. Most of the time they grabbing on you, put your hands behind you, all of that. So that's the point I'm making. It's like, don't sit up there and be trying to argue with these fools. And Kubler, how you doing? Says, so I honestly burnt out on this type of news. Yeah, and I'm with you too. That's why I said I accidentally saw the video. I'm not saying we shouldn't care about it, but it is very traumatic if you think about it after a while. It's just like, how much more can we really endure? And Sunlight says, oh boy. And Kevin Johnson, how you doing? Long time no see. I hope all is well. He says, what's up, Demetra and Donovan? Believe me, that when I am not here, I still follow and like and share the show. And I recently found out that it takes 1 million likes to grow. I'm on that. Well, I appreciate you for helping us out there. And again, welcome back live anyway. And Sublime Princess says, okay, wait, if you're by yourself.
Wait, what if you're by yourself?
That's what he means. What if you're by yourself?
Well, if you're by yourself, remember, Big Brother is watching everywhere. So just make sure you're in a lighted area where there's plenty of cameras and stuff. And, I don't know what the situation would be, but make the right decision for you. If you're by yourself, you might need to comply. But I tell you, I had my house surrounded by a bunch of police over some BS, and I stood them down. I didn't go outside. They tried to make me come outside. I was like, nope, you ain't got a warrant. Go get a warrant and come back. And I stood them down. So you got to know what you're doing.
Well, I want to say this too. Yes, you stood them down, Donovan, but everybody ain't the ultimate badass like you. And Kubler, you say, Demetra, I share your sentiments. And Robin, you laughing. And Astissus 7, you say, Donovan, you were just lucky. Racist cops would have just shot you while you were talking. And there are many cases of that here on YouTube.
No, my mom says that all the time, Astissus, is that they're going to kill my Black ass. But guess what? I'm one of those people. I'm not having it anymore. After 24 years in the military, you think after fighting overseas all those years, I'm going to come back and have to deal with this bullshit? Ain't going to happen.
And Jewel, how you doing? He says, everyone may not be so lucky. And Vaughn says, comply if you're behind enemy lines. Exactly. And you in America, as Black people, you are always behind enemy lines. And Moni, I'll leave your brown sugar alone. Okay, I'll leave Donovan alone. Sorry. I'm going to leave him alone. Wait till we get off of here, though. Pioneer says, I think one of the best strategies for our people to do is both join the various law enforcement agencies like local police, state police, and FBI, as well as form your own private police forces.
Okay, Pioneer, I'm gonna have to disagree with you. A lot of your police departments are antiquated with Black people that are police chiefs, supervisors, and all of that. And nothing has changed. Val Demings, she was a police chief in Orlando, Florida for years. They had Willie Brown here in California. Nothing changed. So, I mean, I hear what you're saying, but just because there's Black faces in strange places doesn't mean things are going to change. You need tangible legislation and repercussions for the actions that they take against other human beings.
Absolutely. And Kiki says, and let us not forget that the Supreme Court ruled that cops don't have to protect us, but we're just to comply to any, I put in quotes, order they make. I posted a video on my page of a cop who was trying to instigate a situation with a man that wasn't even there. The man was calm and collected. The cop actually took the man's calmness as disrespect. I've seen those situations too. It's like, oh, I'm not able to get you, right? Like get you riled up. And so they continue. And then a lot of times it doesn't end up well. And Jacqueline says, Donovan, you were one of the lucky ones. You made your point and it didn't end up on alive. So you guys are reversing because I know you're not trying to say the actual word.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Tips Tops, you say Black folks didn't start the problem of racism. Absolutely. And Robin says, that's right. And that's the way it is. And Rain says, exactly, Demetria. Oh, I'm really behind. Pioneer says, our sister Moni is correct that the youth in the Grand Rapids area was ready to throw down. They even barricaded the police quarters and precincts with concrete blocks.
Notice you said youth. Where are the old niggas at?
Yes, we probably should not say that word too much before we get in trouble. And Kubler says, Demetria and Donovan, are you two open to starting an alternative political party, one specific to address the interests of Blacks, our version of the Tea Party? I mean, I guess I would be open to that. Sure. Yeah. I think the one thing we need to do really is unbrainwash our people. Like, how many of them will actually leave the Democratic Party? They think that is our party. But yeah, sure. I mean, there's a lot of people who have thought about starting a party, but it's definitely a good conversation starter. Kevin, say, I practice criminal law in 4 states without a license, and I was never convicted on practicing law without a license. And like you said, I knew what to do to exercise the laws, prohibitions, and restrictions against the government. 25 years too. All right, brother. And as this is 7, he says, there are many cases where Black women and Black men were still talking, trying to use logic and or trying to explain themselves when the police just bust their windows out, drug them out of the car. Exactly. And Queen Nile says, love you, Donovan. Love you, Demetria. You both are on the same page of persecuted and oppressed foundational Black American people from in the RWS. Is it right wing? What does that mean?
I think it's right wing supremacy.
Maybe. And Brother Jonell says, we are not all the same. They're all fish, but they eat each other. They're all cats, but they fight each other. They're all humans, but they're biased toward each other. All don't live together and have different struggles. Stop that BS. We all wasn't enslaved for over 400 years and counting. So yeah, it's Black and white. Exactly. Pioneer says, in fact, some of the youth were already picking out which stores they were going to hit downtown in the wealthy areas. The only thing that calmed them down was the recent unseasonably cold weather. Okay, well, Mother Nature stepped in, huh? Monty says, you don't have to give them any reason for them to pull you over. They'll make up something. So whoever says stop giving them a reason is real dumb. Comment how about they pull you over just for being Black. And that's really what it is at the end of the day. And Manolo, how you doing? Long time no see. He says World War III has begun. America will be hit by nuclear strikes this year. You might be right. And that's this is 7. He says asset and ISIS. Okay, asset ISIS put together. I'm gonna try.
It's a tongue twister. It's kind of like a tongue twister.
That's what it is. Yes. And Snuggle, I could say that. He says, who would you have a conversation with that you disagree with. So he said, who would you have a conversation with that you get? So I'm thinking maybe you need to rewrite that. I'm sorry, I'm kind of confused. Yeah, Donovan, yeah. Dusty, how you doing? He says Republicans put money behind Chantel Brown too. Nina was a problem to them. That's who it was. And Obvious Truth says exactly why do Christians support top planks of the Democratic platform: abortion, LGBTQ, transitioning children, etc. That's why I said exactly. It's kind of opposite of what they believe, right? Pioneer says a lot of Black people in the Grand Rapids area aren't as anxious to raise hell and fight as much as those in Detroit area because they don't want to upset the good thing, quote unquote, they think they have there. And Megan, how you doing? It says, looking good, Sister Demetria. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And Manolo, you say, the Most High has the ultimate reparations plan. There will be no more elections. America will be destroyed. So it has been prophesied. And Anais, how you doing? It says, old heads will be there. Cecil says, that's why they hate us. We are made in the image of the Most High Creator. Yes, indeed. And Robin says the Black Authority went in on Roland Bolin Martin. I mean, when I tell you I was crying, laughing, my daughter was like, what are you doing? I'm like, it's pretty funny. Thunder says the Russians look like they mean business. I hope everyone is getting their houses in order. Hard times are coming, family. Yep. I mean, we say that every show, get your affairs in order. Kubler says, sad but the true observation, Black deaths at the hands of police officers are as American as apple pie. Do we really think we can put a stop to America's favorite pastime? You raise a good question. I mean, I think that's a very fair question. And Rain, it says pig meat, Martin, the shredded pork by Jason Black. Oh my God.
Yes. Hey, and just remember, fellas, if it gets really bad and this anarchy starts happening, go to the child support office and destroy those files and servers.
Got it. And James just says pro bono, bro. Facts Not Feeling says Blacks can defeat white supremacy Nazis in USA if we pay attention to world events and learn from it. Begin to design policy to drain their funds. Don't shop at any place that does not hire Blacks. Be determined. Yeah. And the other thing is, we need our own businesses. So yeah, that's part of it. Queen Al says, wonder when PC people gonna start coming up mysteriously missing. They use to fill me. So PC people, is that people of color? Is that what you mean? And Jason says, big facts, Donovan. And Anais says, get out of the system. Stop using benefits and privileges. Be sovereign. That's a good way. But yeah, that's going to take some, reconditioning. And Robin says, why did they pull him over? What made them run the plates?
Exactly. See, and that's the thing. I mean, but they can do that if they want to. They have every right to supposedly randomly run plates. That's why you have those cars now that have those plate readers that'll just go by and do that so they can generate revenue. The police generate a lot of revenue for cities, and that's one of their main functions.
Yep. Robin, so I got that. And the Pioneer says, Queen, let me come to your rescue. Laugh out loud. What Brother Donovan is saying is correct in theory, but it too often does not play out in real life because these race soldiers don't honor their own laws. Exactly. Yeah. If you were a white man, you could say, listen, buddy, I pay your I'm the reason why you get paid. And you
do you know who my mommy is?
Yeah, you could do all of that, but Black people, not so much, right? And Facts Not Feeling says freedom is not free. Pay attention to what Russians had to do to the Nazis to free their people. Wake up, Black people. And Martin says, Demetri Donovan, have you heard of Biden's new gun law and how it's going to affect Black people personally? It's time for a change. And they like to keep everybody asleep and scared. No more of this. Yeah, that's what I was saying.
This is what 87, what is it? 90-something% of Black people voted for. This is what you voted for. The Democratic Party, to keep your freedoms away from you and keep you unarmed so that you must comply, because guess what? You're not armed against your own government.
Yep. And Kiki says, I know that's right, Jonelle. We are not treated the same. We are all human beings. Yes, but we all don't get the same treatment. Show me a white person who needs to get a Black person to pose as an owner of their home in order to get a fair appraisal. You won't find one. Show me a white man who gets the cops called on him trying to withdraw money from his own bank account because it's a large sum of money. I'm over people acting like there aren't systemic and institutional differences. Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. I mean, until those things go away, there's going to be a demarcation between black and white. And the Pioneer says Neely Fuller Jr. has some of the best advice for black people who are stopped by the police. Don't fuss, don't fight, don't flee. They have the training, power, and law on their side. And Neely Fuller Jr. has been doing this a long time. In fact, he has really defined what racism and white supremacy is. So yeah, he's absolutely right.
Yeah, like again, and I always stress this: even if you don't know the law and you don't have the thing, the one right you should know when encountering the police, you are not obligated to help them in their investigation. Remain silent. You have that right. If you don't know anything else, do that.
That's not Phyllis says, I'm not saying confront cops. No, I don't think you're saying that. I hope not. And NIE says, represent yourself. You don't need a lawyer. You will be a ward of the state. And Obvious Truths, you say, Sunlight says, laugh out loud, Donovan. Obvious Truths, it says, I'm with you, D. Reasonably comply. Don't resist. Don't flee. Cut on camera. Otherwise, risk being admired in the grave. Leave the battle. Yeah, I mean, at least just live, fight it out in another system, right? Which is the court system, whether it may or may not work out in your favor, but damn it, you're going to take some extra breaths, okay? That's not feeling says, all I'm saying is remain silent. No, I get that. I'm not saying, well, yeah, sure. I got some keys in the back. I'm not saying none of that. I'm just saying, don't be sitting up there trying to crack open the penal code. Oh, well, here it says you shouldn't. Just survive. That's all I'm saying. Terry says, exactly. I do not advocate instantly complying with a cop who is hell-bent on killing you. If they target me, then our time has come. And Sunlight says that Donovan, I'm in Ramadan. You're good. Yes.
Oh, good. That means she's having her nice big meal after fasting all this week. So she's weak.
No, at night when the sun goes down,
yeah.
You can eat and drink. Yes.
Yeah. So right now she's kind of weak right now. So good.
She has to be good. And Kevin says Africans born in America are around 12% of 330 million. Says, as Christ taught you, should not go up against a greater army without first using a strategy that takes that into account. Don't run headlong into a civil war in America. Don't mistake race and patriotism. Very good point. And Rain says, where is Joy Reid? She is Congolese, like the young man that was executed by the police. Yeah, Joy actually, she got caught up in some mess. Well, I can't remember what it was. They found some old tweets of hers and she was being, as they say, homophobic. So I don't know what actually happened with that, but yeah, where is Joy? And Facts Not Feeling says that cop who shot Philando got away because that man's family is not determined to make that cop pay. Well, they paid a settlement, as far as money, but I mean, how much of it is in their control, though? You know what I mean? How much control does the family actually have to make the cop pay? And Facts Not Feelings, you say, I don't want blacks to argue with cops. No, please do not do that. And Manolo says, Foundation of Black Americans equals true American Indians, Israelites, 10 tribes, Northern Kingdom. Okay. And Moni says, I will never be voting for none of these lying crooks. Demetra, I would love for you to show these videos. I'm going to show them, Moni. Just not all of the ones, because some of them are graphic. I cannot do that. I don't want to jeopardize my channel. I hope that makes sense. You also say that you can show how Senator Bullock, State Representative Yancey, is not their job. Help us, okay? And I'm going to do what I can, Moni. And the Pioneer says, Brother Donovan is right. That black men need to stop being afraid and stand up to defend our community. But that takes a majority of the men, not just 2 or 3, while the rest are sitting back watching. Yes. Ridiculous Thoughts. How you doing? Long time no see. Says, hi, Demetra and Donovan. We are in a similar situation today as our ancestors. So we will have to use the same survival tactics to stay alive. Yes. They had to do what they needed to do to stay alive. And not because not all of them were going to go along with your Nat Turners.
Well, I'm going to say this. I'm not going to disagree with you. Everybody's got to, use their own best judgment, right? But we need to be like the Singalese. Our problem is we're too damn friendly. When we see them coming, fill them full of spears.
Okay, Donovan. Fact Not Feeling says you remain silent and don't consent to any searches. Remain silent, but again, depending on where you are, there's this thing called probable cause and reasonable.
Right. When it comes to your car, it doesn't matter what you say. They can search your car without your permission. You're on the road. It is a privilege, not a right. That's been adjudicated by the Supreme Court. Now, the Fourth Amendment. Does anybody know what the Fourth Amendment is?
What is it, Donovan?
Unreasonable search and seizure. They do not have a right to come into your house. And if you're smoking weed in your house and stuff like that, and they see it, they can, arrest you right there in your house. But do not ever let a policeman in your house, period, or on your property.
And what does the other part of that say about unreasonable search and seizures? Unless what?
Unless what?
Unless they have like reason to believe.
Yeah, but with that, they have to have a warrant. They just can't come in.
Yeah. Come up in your house.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, as far as you being out and about, I mean, who's to say
they can have probable cause, but again, remain silent.
A lot of that is made up. Well, we smell weed on you or something like that.
Right. Just remain silent. You are not obligated to help them in their investigation. Correct. Let them handle it.
And let's see here. And ISIS, I hope I said that right, says, at Donovan, we're going to stand up individually by our cars and get gunned down by our cars because of running our mouths and being a smart aleck with the cops.
Yeah, again, why are you being smart aleck with the cop if you don't know what you're talking about? That isn't what I'm saying. If you don't know what you're saying, I've been saying it how many times now? Remain silent. That is your best right to do. Remain silent.
But to their point, even if you know what you're saying, to them, you're being a smart aleck. You're challenging their false sense of authority over you. That's what they're saying. And
right.
I totally agree with that.
And if you know what you're doing, do so. I've done it several times and I've won, and I'm just saying me, in every time because I know a little bit about the law.
Wally the Elder, how you doing? You say, Sister Demetria and Brother Donovan, it's a catch-22. You're damned if you do and damned if you don't. I had a high school friend who was shot in the head by the police while reaching for his registration. There you go. And unfortunate, very unfortunate situation. Marty says, Senators and state representatives, when I've brought my issues and liked the videos, none of them have tried to help me, Demetria, but tell me it's out of their area, nothing they can do to help me and the other women. I tell you what, you have more power organizing the people on the ground floor, which is your neighbors and everybody is, get those women together, go knock on some doors and to have a conversation with them, educate them about what is and is not going on in your area, and tell them next time a vote comes up, vote them out. That's where you're going to get a bigger impact, is go wake the people up who are next to you and near you and who can impact those people's positions in the future. That's not feelings. It says, and make sure you find out where that cop lives. And
not hard. Google it. You can Google it.
And Manolo says Biden sexuals. That's what they are. They are in love with Joe Biden. Terry says, I'm not saying argue with anyone, but the fact is lying down and taking a killing while you're begging for your life as they laugh at you. I can't breathe. It's just foolish. Reginald Green complied. Yeah, I mean, I get it. I'm not saying that we should do that. Unfortunately, I mean, like we saw in the case of Eric Garner, I mean, he's complying. I mean, he was also outmanned, same thing with that of George Floyd. He was outmanned. I mean, so you gonna do what you can, but it's tragic all the way around. And Herman says, I think cops back in the 80s and early 90s was not as trigger happy as these cops are now. I used to challenge the cops back then and had no respect for cops. I think they pretty much always been that way. We're hearing more about it now because we have the cell phone and the internet, so things are traveling. The news is traveling a lot faster, so I think it's probably been the same, roughly. Terry says that two facts, they're mortal as well and can be dealt with. Yeah. And Queen Nile says, man gonna be a man. I understand that because Black men and Black women got to have this talk because we are foundational Black Americans. Women love our kings. Black men, you better believe it. And Robin says they're talking about bringing back stop and frisk. Yeah, they're doing that in New York. The Black mayor, Eric Adams, who everybody voted in, he's pro-police. He was an ex-police captain or sergeant or something like that. And he's like, yeah, we need to bring that back because he ran on getting crime down in New York. And so he's full on board with bringing back stop and frisk. Sad but true. Terry says, Not double Muslim, just a black and a woman. Laugh out loud.
Yeah. For those that don't know, Demetria, could you tell them what a double Muslim is?
Well, per Donovan's definition, somebody who is going out of here and taking somebody with them. And Marty says YouTube done started cutting comments down where you can't see and everything else to keep you from not talking on Police Crusher. Please tell me if it'll be Tuesday. My show, I don't know yet, Marty. Tuesday, I'm actually traveling, so I won't be doing a show on Tuesday, but I will let you know, Marty. And Thunder says, that's right, Don. Black men stand up. Black men, we all need to get life insurance. That way, if something happens to us, our families will be taken care of. If all these black men keep dying, and the insurance companies will step in. They'll take themselves to Washington quick, fast, in a hurry and say, y'all better do something about it. We are losing a lot of money.
Yeah, there was a lot of money in the last 2 years of COVID. The insurance companies took a big hit.
And Jay, how you doing? You say mass shooting in mall in Columbia, South Carolina, and suspect freed on $25,000 bond with ankle monitor for house arrest, but allowed to go to work. Wonder what color he was. I could be wrong. Facts Not Feeling says, don't go down begging, go down getting even. It's a human right. Well, yeah, I mean, if it's getting to that point, do what you got to do. So I agree. And Thunder says, and put a stop to all of this. And I should say back to Moni's comment about YouTube in the comments. Yeah, there's certain things they don't want us to say. So I would impress upon everybody just to be careful what you say, because this ain't our platform. It's theirs. It's theirs. That's why I'm kind of, not really going all out there with a lot of these comments, because, it's not our platform. And Thunder says, and put us, I think I read that, a stop to all of this. And Jay says, we must pay attention. And Terry says, I found one in my car now too. He says, I'm actually looking for one that will stream. So you're talking about a camera. Okay. Obvious Truth says, must have reasonable suspicion to search cars, can't extend traffic stops beyond necessity. But who's to define reasonable? That's the term I was actually looking for. I was thinking, who's to define reasonable suspicion? Is that the cops? Who's this? Reasonable is arbitrary. Who's to say your reasonable is different from their reasonable? And if they have the upper hand, don't you think their reasonable is a version of reasonable is going to supersede?
Yeah, they kind of say in a traffic stop, a basic traffic stop, according to the Supreme Court, should be no more than 15 to 20 minutes. And that's extreme to write the ticket or do what they're going to do.
Right. And Obvious Truth says most must have reasonable. Oh, I read that already. Sorry about that. And Terry says that's exactly what I do. I don't record. I live stream. There you go. And Pioneer says, I agree. Try not to have anything illegal in the vehicle to begin with. And importantly, make sure other people in your vehicle don't have anything illegal on them either, or let them folks walk. There you go.
Right. And if you're a passenger in a car, how many of you guys know this? It was ruled by the Supreme Court. Once again, you do not have to identify if you're the passenger. You don't, they can make you get out of the car, but you don't have to identify.
Can I just tell y'all that Philando Castile was a passenger? So as said, Isis, you say, Donovan, if you are on that stand-up thing, it needs to be united. Like the scene in Malcolm X movie, hundreds, thousands of us armed and in formation, united in purpose. There you go. Facts Not Feeling says, when a racial ethnicity has to wear body cam for protection, we are already in a civil war. Good point. Kevin says, Donovan is absolutely correct. Police do what they do. And that's very different than obeying the law. And since we don't hold public service accountable, and we damn sure don't prosecute them, which is why you should not be standing on the street, having a back and forth with them. And Marty says, Donovan, how come you always have your comment section turned off for his comment? I think Donovan's in trouble still with YouTube that he don't have it turned off. They've
turned it off because on my settings, everything is open to the public. So.
Which is why I tell y'all there's certain things if y'all want to keep on commenting, we got to really just be, cool as much as we can. Because Donovan like to really go there and give them hell. And Pioneer says, the brother.
Wait, I'm more than just a pretty face. Okay. I'm just more.
Pioneer says the brother may have done some things wrong, like getting out of the vehicle and resisting, but was it worthy of death? He says the cop could have simply let him go and caught him 15 minutes later, right? The whole thing was just brutal, right? Storm Vet, how you doing? He says, look at everything we have to do, record, stay calm, think straight, know the law. And when the worst happens and the person is shot, punishment is sorely lacking. We are living under Jim Crow 2.0. Yep. And I would even ask, did the first Jim Crow even go away? And Cecil says, that is what the powers of be, I think he meant that be, enjoy watching, throwing a rock and turning the head. And we blame each other when it's on them all along, causing the problem with the political agenda. And Terry says, I'm the female ultimate badass, and Donovan is right, laugh out loud. I used to have problems with them too, but I also cost a lot of money. So they really just leave me alone. I'm quiet as long as they are. And again, I'm glad that you are still here, sister, still here. But y'all are anomalies. I'm just, and I don't like to deal in absolutism. My tongue is getting tired. Absolutisms, and that, well, if it worked for me, it could work for you, because I'm not saying that. I'm not saying by you too, but I'm saying that's sort of a misrepresentation of that. If I can do it, you can do it too, type of thing.
Right. Well, my thing is this. We've been complying and doing everything that you've been saying for over 60, 70, maybe 100 years. We're still getting killed in the street. So my thing is, you know what? To hell with it. It's going to be what it's going to be.
If we would unite and stop voting for oppression, then we wouldn't have to be going out like Rambo.
I voted for Maxine. I voted for Maxine. I voted for Clyburn.
No other community has to do that but us. Ask ourselves, what are they doing differently than we are doing? And I'm not saying it's all our fault, so please don't mistake me in that, but they're doing something that we are not. And Kubler says the best way to curb Black death at the hands of the police is to encourage more Black people to become law enforcement officers. And Manolo, you say, let me get to these comments. It says,
Black officers are the worst here, at least in California.
Manolo says it's designed to burn you out and distract you. And Kiki says it's like this: a white man stabbed police officers and lived. I'm over these cops acting like they can't subdue Black men without killing them. A study proved that police arrive at a scene involving Black men with biases already in their thought process. They come to kill, not get a situation under control. It's the same biasness. Shaking my head. Police aren't out here being killed collectively by Black men. So why is there this automatic fear? Well, some of it is fear, but some of it is superiority. They know they're going to get away with it. So it's like, I don't even see them as human. So I can do what I want, lie, and then go home and have that nasty casserole that Marge is going to put on the table.
And what other career field can you come out of high school, if it's a small town, it's nepotism, make at least $80,000, and you're shielded from whatever you do. Even if you do make a mistake and you murder somebody, you are protected. So what career field actually does? Even in the military, we don't get that kind of protection.
And Cecil says this is what the powers that be enjoy listening to on our show, us against each other. They throw rocks and turn the head, and we attack each other. Well, we're not attacking each other at all. What we like to do on this show is have a conversation so we can learn from each other. So I hope it doesn't come off that way. Facts Not Feelings, it says the same kind of violence these cops do on Blacks is the same kind of violence the Ukraine security service did on Russian speakers, but Russians were prepared to bomb the ish out of those Nazis. Okay. And Jay says the fear and hatred of Black men goes so deep, and there is always something to prove, even at the expense of a life. And Jonelle says, Tales from the Hood, where was you, brother? And Avenge the Ancestors. How you doing? It says, hello, Queen Demetra, Brother Donovan in room. And Black Man, how you doing? I think that's how you say it. You say, hello, my people, all praise to the Most High, Black first, always struggling and striving against the most satanic, corrupt society on the planet. And Thunder says, if we are truly scared of getting shot, there is a Black-owned company that makes bulletproof body armor. Some body armor is thin enough to go under your clothes, and clothing, and not be seen easily. I mean, it's hot in Houston, so I don't know if I want to walk around.
It's hot out here in the desert. You know that.
Yes. And Don, how are you doing? You say, hey, Demetra and Donovan, just got here. Tough day. Well, I hope it gets better. And Moni says, Donovan is right. You should invest in a body cam. Most they'll try to do, if they recognize this, is snatch it off your body like they tried to knock your phone out of your hand or go and attack a person. And Ali, how you doing? I thank you so much. I love and appreciate you for that comment. Donovan, stop hating. And Martin says, let me, I think he meant Demetra. It says, Okay, yeah, he says, sent me a couple of videos. It says, where I was asking some officers last month who were threatening me because of a domestic violence from my neighbor. I told them, why are you being racist? I think he said in front. Yeah, so I did see that video. But can I tell you something, Moni? If you see your neighbor having an issue with the police officer and they're having some domestics, stay out of it. Now I get you looking out your peephole, maybe filming, on the low, so they don't see, but stay out of it. Because like, that's all I'm saying. Like, let's not go looking for stuff that has nothing to do with us. Like I said, look out, but stay, just let them do what they gonna do, especially if they're called to a domestic violence situation. Kiki says, right, Donovan, not much has changed. They just put black faces in certain spaces to fool certain places. There's still segregational policies in place. They're just not as overt. Pay attention. You find cops of every skin color in black communities. How many black cops patrol predominantly white communities? Remember how back in the day, black cops couldn't patrol white people and their communities? Not much has changed. Yeah, and they still can't do that. And they wouldn't even try. Look what happened to Brother Muhammad Noor in Minneapolis. He shot a white woman, thought she was, adverse to him, and he got locked up right away. And Pioneer said, Brother Donovan, you asked where the old niggas, laugh out loud. He says, come on, man. You can't be out here running from the cops and hopping fences with a cane, ass challenging tear gas with all that emphysema.
See, he got me on that one. He's talking about me right there. He got me on that one.
Frederick, how you doing? He said, correction. He says, we in the foundational Black Americans are in need of a resurrection without the interference of neither party. Well, yeah, we need a resurrection, but I was basically making the point that we need to resurrect the Democrats up out of those seats, especially the ones who benefit from our votes and do nothing for us. But yeah, I agree with you. And Moni, you say, I told the officers, why are you being racist and biased? Because this is a Hispanic couple. When are you standing in front of my door? I think when you're standing in front of my door with them asking, where's your ID? I don't need my ID in my house.
Just close the door. Don't even interact with them. Close the door. Don't interact. Just close the door. Let them go get a warrant. Once they have that warrant, you're more than welcome. If the warrant says, come into my house, let them come in.
And the other thing is, don't open your door. You see danger on the other side, don't open your door. Because there's nothing you can do about that situation, right? And Facts Not Feeling says, Russian means business. Yes, indeed. And Ali says, Demetra, I have to, he says, qualify now a day. What does that mean?
Is it qualify or quantify? I'm not sure which.
Yeah. And Terry says, laugh out loud, might as well destroy those files and servers. I don't get ish anyway. And
talking about the child support office.
Right.
When it hits the fan.
I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna be nice. I'm just keep on going because Terry, I had something to say.
Brothers, go to that office.
I give myself
don't act up. Let's act up.
Yeah, act up on that whole $5.25 you send in every month. Yes. And Easy says they should extend the academy from 6 months to 12. 6, focusing on proper takedown procedures. These videos show how weak these officers are out of shape as they struggle to get the most under control.
You know, real quick, Easy makes a good point. How many of you guys see these officers that look like they've had one too many donuts? I mean, even in the military, we have like requirements. Once these guys graduate the academy, there is no performance enhancements after that. But again, most of these academies just teach arrest and beat ass. That's all they teach. They don't really go into the law. I mean, at least the basic, the Constitution. If you guys ever encounter a police officer, just whatever, ask them what the 3rd article of the Constitution is. And I guarantee you, most of them do not know. Just ask them an article, the first 10 of the Constitution, and I tell you, they do not know. But they swore an oath to it. Make sense?
Dusty, you say PC equals palm colored. Okay. Pioneer says, in cities like Detroit and Atlanta, the police chiefs and most of the cops are Black. The problem is so many of our youth are engaged in criminal activity that they still end up on the wrong end of an comment, I think, cut off maybe the law or something. And Marty says, Donovan, when I see you talking to the police, it was calm and gentle, and I hope you don't settle your case You need to take it fully to the trial so it makes the full newspaper of the whole case. And Kiki said, Donovan, really, are you encouraging men to get away with not financially supporting their kids? I should go and edit my comment agreeing with you. Just kidding. And Don said, did y'all hear about the point system used by Atlanta PD? I have not. Moni, you also say, Donovan, if you don't take this fully to trial, these people are doing it again. But when you take it to trial, you can bring a lot of attention on it. You should be settling for $1 million. Okay.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, Moni, criminally, the police did not agree because they don't want to do their damn jobs, that it's enough to bring it to the DA because they said it was an accident. So by going to court, that I am going to court, I am suing them. That's the way to go do it. And it's going to cost them something. So they're going to pay something out of it. So yes, I took it to court.
Pioneer says, even when I see these videos of Caucasians allegedly standing up to and cussing out the cops over their rights, I have to wonder how many of them are real or just some psyops designed to trick you. I mean, it could be, but you know, they see other white people like them, and so they'll chase them around the car and get slapped, you know, a couple times by Karen and all of that, right? And
right, a mass shooting happens, they'll take them to McDonald's and talk about it.
Right. I said, Isis, you say, Demetra, you are, oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you for the compliments. Y'all making me feel good. And Brother Donnell says, this white nation is the way to do its cheat codes. He says, I think he may be codes. He says, it's corruption, especially in every field, especially bylaws, enforcement. It's injustice system. So it's chess, not checkers. Know the pieces. And how to motion and humble and intelligently as the serpent. Yes, indeed. Know how to play the game. Pioneer says, I've been noticing since I was a kid, and Neely Fuller Jr. actually pointed it out, that white folks will often pretend to fight and challenge each other in public for various reasons. Exactly. In fact, Not Feeling says, can we put to a stop to America's favorite pastime? Yes, we can. Just be prepared to tear the whole system down, freedom at any cost. Yeah, that's what it's going to take, right? And Pioneer says, I look at these videos of white people allegedly standing up to cops and defending their rights. Some of them are even armed, and the cops just standing around looking silly or helpless, suspicious.
Well, look at Kyle Rittenhour. A 16-year-old minor is running around with an AR-15, and they're waving at him. He just murdered somebody.
Maxwell, if I didn't already, hello, how you doing? He says, don't you mean eulogy? And what is that in regards to? And Jonelle says, unity is the empowerment that Black people need. Black unity is our altering factor. Yes, indeed. And Don says, I filed a federal claim in the Northern District against SFSO for
San Francisco something.
He says for all the unusual 4th, 8th, and 14th, and the amendments. I think that's what is that what you're referring to? Facts, Not Feelings. You say yes, and Pioneer says Pioneer says I can't trust a video or even seeing a real life incident of white folks allegedly challenging the cops and seemingly getting away with it. I'd have to see the entire background and monitor the outcome. Obvious Truth says no, they cannot search cars without reasonable suspicion, except the 4th Amendment include hot pursuit, extended circumstances, etc. Absolute. So that's what I was getting to. There's another part to the 4th Amendment. And James says, Donovan, do you know how to shoot a gun? He spent 24 years in the military. I've seen a few of his little toys. So yeah, and he is a major. So I would say he probably knows how to do that at least. And
my mother was in the Army. My dad was a Marine. My brother's a Marine in the Air Force. Whole military family. Yeah, whole military family.
And many of you guys may not know, Donovan was a pilot in the Air Force. So yeah, he knows the stuff. Get on my nerves, but he knows stuff. And he got about 14 degrees too. Believe it or not.
Actually 12. It's 12.
Oh, I was putting too much
finally counted, yeah.
So yeah, so he finally counted, and it's actually 12 degrees. Okay, and so let's see here. And I Thunder said, Demetra K, you're in Texas now. I understand that you would spend a large amount of time in Cali. When you can take a few moments and look up some of your newly found rights here in Texas. My right is to stay my black ass in this house if I'm not at the store or at the gym. That's as far as I take it, right? Now I'll leave it at that. I'm here in Texas, Houston. Kiki says I get sides. Just tired. It says just tired of people being taken down inhumanely. Like I said on my page, I've seen people hesitate to put down their family pet longer than the cop took to decide to shoot that man in the back of his head. That was cowardly and inhumane. Well, the other thing too is I said this yesterday on the show. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that we are fighting for civil rights and we should be fighting for human rights. You got to be seen as a human before you can get civil rights. And so we know that America does not see Black people as human. So we got to kind of stop and start right there. Kevin says the Fourth Amendment is prohibition and restriction against government to use the authority of the laws unless they identify the places, person, or things before they seize them, and much more. But judges are not punished for violating Article 6 of the Constitution. Read it for yourself. Yes, I know that mandate. All right, brother, we ain't gonna argue with you. And Moni says, when people say they give you to give up your sovereignty, that's a kind of stupid statement, Demetra, because of the fact that most of the time when you ask these people about your licenses to be a cosmetologist or a lawyer, can you maybe clarify that? I'm confused a little bit.
Yeah, and if anybody ever to ask you about being a sovereign citizen, you guys do realize police are sovereign citizens. And if you don't believe me, look at the stuff that they do. They act like they're above the law. They hide evidence. They use evidence. They're like their own thing. That's why there's a thing called the thin blue line. Name me a good cop who has ever crossed that thin blue line and lived. It just doesn't happen. So police are sovereign citizens. So if they try to say you're a sovereign citizen, no, you tell them, no, you're the sovereign citizen because you're not honoring your oath or defending my rights if you're in the right to do what they're supposed to do.
Pioneer says, pointing at a few examples of those who did comply and still got killed to justify logical, justify not logical, especially when the majority who do comply actually survive to tell the tale and even sue and win the case. Good point. And Marty says, when you ask these people about licenses to practice in many fields, they are calm that licenses are voted. So don't even follow that. You don't work. You be entitled to your Social Security. Let's be clear. That's not feeling says the reason why Russia and Ukraine is fighting is because the Russian speakers refuse to comply with oppression. Never accept oppression. Fight back at all costs. That's how you get your freedom. Well, I agree with you with the fight back, but as someone said, I can't remember who it was. Forgive me. It's not just one or two people's fighting back. It's all of us. The majority of us doing the fighting back. That's how it works. Honeydew, how you doing? You say that was a great point about life insurance. Yes, indeed. And Moni says, at the end of the day, when you need to find a good lawyer that's not a sellout and start suing these racists, is what needed. Is Tuesday going to be the day? Moni, me and Donovan are actually traveling on Tuesday, so we're gonna do something. Maybe Wednesday is Wealth Wednesdays at Walter, but maybe we'll do something that evening when we get set up and everything like that. And the Pioneer says, you're living in a prison where the wardens and correctional officers are racist. They have the power and are in charge. Even you comply. I think even when you comply, you can still be harmed or killed, but the vast majority who do aren't. Yes, indeed. And I'm going to go to some of these other comments just so I can try to get to the bottom, because I'm going to get to the bottom today. Jonelle says, we live in a nation that don't comply to their own rules, which they strive to enforce on we, the masses. Yep. Obvious Truth says, judge ultimately decides on motion to suppress. Cops smell marijuana a lot, but astute attorneys know how to refute reasonable suspicion if there was none. Absolutely. So that's what I'm saying. Of course, they'll make it up on the fly, right? And Easy said, D, last year I said on here about putting cameras in your vehicle, and someone on here struck it down. Now people are coming to senses. Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with putting a camera in your vehicle. Yeah, by all means, have some evidence of what happened to you if, God forbid, something happens to you, right? Fat Son, he says, but I thought the car was an extension of the home.
No, absolutely not, because it's not connected to the home. The home is what it is. A garage is a connection to your home. If you're on that property, whatever's on that property is a connection of your home, but a car is not. A car is a privilege. It is not a right. It is a privilege to drive. It's not all right.
Thunder says, I know you can't say certain things here, but if you read the law, quote unquote, would that be a problem? It is the law you're reading and not your own words. No, that's a different story. But I'm saying I'm just saying about some of the language, we might just want to be careful because we don't want, none of us want to get in trouble, if you guys know what I mean. And let's see here. Don says, I have a 360-degree view system in my vehicle, which seats two phone ready to go live if necessary, and a body cam, which can also go live. Don't fuss, don't fight, and don't flee. Stay silent. Yes. And Finance says, I don't know this for a fact, but I believe based on the evidence I've seen, the vast majority of Black people killed by the police either were not complying or engaging in criminal activity. No, I wouldn't say the vast. I wouldn't say that at all, because I think even if you're pulled over by the cops, let's say you were drunk, let's say you did have some marijuana, whatever in your car, that does not equate to you being murdered, right? A traffic stop, a simple traffic stop, speeding or something, you should not be murdered, right? Even if you are fleeing, I guess, from doing something bad, if there's protocols for them to use. They just don't do it as much when it comes to Black people.
Yeah, I don't know.
Were all of them, wearing a halo? No.
Right. Even Cheryl Dorsey, if you guys don't know who that is, she's a retired LAPD sergeant, 20 years in the LAPD. She even said that, I guess from Southern California, when you're engaged in hand-to-hand combat, that is not the time to pull your gun out for the exact reason of what we saw in the video. You can accidentally discharge that firearm and shoot somebody in the head or shoot a bystander or whatever. But in that video, you saw the officer actually pull the gun out. So she said that's a problem in itself. And we're going to see how it's going to play out in the trial.
Yes, indeed. And Mary, you say they're organ trafficking. That is a speculation. And Jonelle says, do the rich pay taxes like the poor? Welcome to slave-making European Zionists on America. Injustice is rooted in economics, which we, the Black nation, represent since the slave ship Jesus in 1555. Black economics is evidence of why injustice must bloom in this biased nation.
Wait up, Demetra. Go through all of these. You've got 4 minutes. Do it. Go.
I'm going to. Like I said, I skip through some of these and give everybody a chance to be heard. Facts Not Feelings says never talk to cops. Facts Not Feelings says never talk to cops while on the street, walking, or outside of a car. And Rod, man, how you doing? He says, my house is not a house to come uninvited to a got you. And Darius says cowardly. And Morning says maybe just show the ones that was already on the news. Everybody can look them up and see and explain about the ones or gentlemen being taken out in a body bag when you come. See, I can't show either on Tuesday. Don says they should have annual psych exams and a 2-year degree too. I agree with that. He said to get hired. Pioneer says, you're right, Brother Donovan. They don't make sure these cops stay in shape, but that's because they aren't empowered to protect your rights, but to protect property. And there he says, oops, I may critically think. Sorry about that one. No worries. And Pioneer says, it's really the responsibility of the county sheriff and those deputized by them to keep the peace and protect people. Police are designed to protect the property and city and local governments. Jafia, what's going on with your girl? He says, good evening, everybody. And Don says, he wasn't a toy soldier. Damn, I only have 3 and a dozen certifications, long paper Donovan. And yeah, Donovan, he got the credentials. I seen all those bars on his jacket that he still has some, it don't have room for them all. So Donovan's, is pretty well decorated. I will say that. And Pioneer says, not only Kyle Rittenhouse.
Still single, lady, still single.
He's still single. The bid is at, half price. So we're at like $2 and some cents today for Donovan. Pioneer says, not only Kyle Rittenhouse, but look at the Armand Bundy situation out west and how they stack up illegal weapons and routinely challenge the cops, but they seemingly get away with it. And let's see, Moni says, unfortunately, Detroit is not set up in such a way that you can go to people's door and ask them not to vote for this person. Sometimes you can be putting your life at risk. Some of the people got you. And at said ISIS, he says, well, Donovan, what's the holdup? Laugh out loud. You are very much qualified to start up a pro-Black organization. In fact, Not Feeling says, Black people, you know all the secrets and vulnerabilities of the USA. If we really want our freedom, we must have taken it taken it long time ago. Wanting proximity to whites is why we are still not free. That's that false idea of civil rights. And Pioneer says, Brother Donovan, that's why I didn't take you up on your best that Demetra would get to the bottom of the chat, because she reserves the right to skip over some of the comments to save time. Yeah, I'm just saying. I mean, you know, some of y'all could really type. Asset Isis, she says, could you all put up links to the car camera system, body cams, and the black body armor company? That would be nice. And Fat Sonny says, you have the right to kill a carjacker, but I can't say no to police things that make you say, exactly.
And just real quick, yeah, do you guys know this? And I'm not saying go out and do it. The police have no jurisdiction over you unless you've broken a law. The suspicious thing, it has to be a suspicion of a crime. So don't let them just say, I've got articulate suspicion. It has to be a suspicion of a crime. So until you do that, policemen are like anybody else on the street. You can tell them to go F off and whatever, and they have no jurisdiction over you. So just remember that.
Absolutely. But again, y'all know what I said earlier. Molly says, Donovan, I would love for you to tell her what's her favorite overseas country you like. Same question, Demetra. Happy birthday and many more prosperous. Thank you for being great. I appreciate that.
Dominican Republic.
South Africa for me so far.
No, yeah. I like it all because I've traveled all my life, so I like it all.
Donovan has a reason in the Dominican Republic to like it. I ain't gonna tell his business though. And Robin says, Amazon has.
I'm bringing my stallions with me to the Dominican Republic. They got my bitch warmer, so I'm bringing in the champions.
Who you stupid? And Robin says Amazon has body cameras. They even have the ones that look like buttons. Yeah,
exactly. So they have the real small ones now. Yeah, so you can do that. It doesn't take a lot.
Right. And Don says, and the judges in every state shall be bound thereby, and anything in the constitutional laws or any state to the contrary, notwithstanding Article 8, I think you meant of the Constitution. And Cecil says, Shalom family, absolutely. And Pioneer says, I didn't say all the black folks killed by cops were engaging in criminal activity or not complying. I said the majority. I could be wrong though. Yeah, I would say you're wrong about the majority. They just like to highlight that, right? In fact, Not Feeling says, my camera gets saved to the cloud, and I already let trusted people know is there in case anything happens to you. If I die at the hands of the government, I don't want peace. I don't want forgiveness. I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, my mom says that, she always tells me that they're going to kill me. And I said, well, at least you'll know how I died. So, I wear a body cam more so my mom could kind of know the facts of what went down.
Got it. And Don, you say single too, never been married, and bonus, no kids. Okay. And Pioneer says, too many decent, righteous, intelligent black folks are out here fighting for and marching for criminals and thugs who wouldn't give a damn about them if the situation were reversed. I'm going to get to the bottom of these comments, y'all. And Terry says, exactly, Donovan. I say the same thing, telling me that I'm acting suspicious isn't a suspicious for a crime, so I don't play that mess either. It does help that the police chief here isn't a play thing. Okay. Don says, Donovan, when we going to the DR?
Well, you missed the boat. But anytime you want to go back, I'm willing to return with you. If you need a guide or anything like that, just let me know. Yeah,
he's more than happy to do that. Terry says, here, when they get fired, they get fired. There is no appeals process. And yes, they go to jail as well. There's a huge difference. A good police chief makes ACLU is quick to sue in Pennsylvania too. Pioneer says, this is one of the reasons the Nation of Islam was so successful throughout the years of keeping out of trouble. You start off by being righteous and not engaging in criminal behavior and vices. Yeah, just start with that, right? And Mona says, Donovan Demetra, how can I get with either of you to show me how to put up my videos on Instagram, because I want everyone to be able to see them. I need help with one of them, help with them. I would just say, think of what you want to put up and be careful, because you don't want to get yourself in trouble for putting up stuff. And I've been doing this for a long time, and Donovan too. And so I'm not saying it because I don't want to show the videos. I just know that people's channels and stuff get taken down and people's pages get removed for certain things. And so while I know you want to show those things, we just got to be very cautious. And so just think about what it is you want to say before you do it. Pioneer says,
and real quick, Moni, you also got to be very careful of the videos itself. You could be sued in regards to putting up certain videos that might cross a certain line. So be very, very careful, you know, what you do if you're going to do that, because you can be sued in regards to what videos and what's on the video as well. So,
yep. And the Pioneer says the Nation of Islam teaches you to be clean and decent so that the devil doesn't have an excuse to harm you. You avoid the traps that these devils have set for you. There you go. Terry says, wait, y'all, I speak fluent Spanish. Take me with y'all to the DR. Laugh out loud. Come on. And the Pioneer says, like Brother Malcolm said, the white man.
No, wait. We can't take Terry because, like I said, I'm bringing in my champions. And then the Dominican women might get mad because they thinking y'all coming down there to work.
I'm going down there like you to scope out the scenery. How y'all doing? Oh yeah, okay. Listen, honestly, I'm gonna take like 3 books with me. I'm gonna lie out on the beach, give me a nice little tan for the summer. I might have me a little drink, go see the sights, and I'm getting back on the plane to get back to work. And then I'm gonna go see my daddy in California.
And then actually, when I'm there, Dimitri is going to work with me in regards to my lawsuit cases coming up as well. So it's just basically just getaway time, you know, because it's been a while. So
yeah, absolutely. And Pioneer says, like they says, like Brother Malcolm said, the white man sells you the liquor, then puts you in jail for being drunk. He sells you the dice and puts you in jail for gambling. Yep. So just don't get into the traps, right? As much as you can, avoid that. Terry says that Cardi B lawsuit made some serious changes. Laugh out loud. He said, "Estoy bien, mi hermano," and listen, I don't speak no Spanish. Well,
all those years living in California, and she can't speak no Spanish. No poquito.
Hey, wait, hold on. Wait a minute. You diving on me? We went to Costa Rica. He sat down at the table.
Oh, for breakfast? Yeah.
Y'all know what he ordered?
Breakfast. Yeah, breakfitos.
No, he says He's talking about because the guy actually ended up speaking English, but Donovan was trying to order breakfast, and the guy kind of looked, and Donovan says, "Breakfast." Like rolling the R was like.
No, I didn't say. I said like breakfast.
No, you said breakfast.
Yeah, breakfast. Yeah, something like that. Had a little accent on it.
Yeah. Oh. All right, here we go.
Thank God for Google Translator. Thank God.
Right. If Terry says, laugh out loud, Donovan, I'll count to 30. You can go do your thing and pretend we don't know each other. I'll blend in. I'm dark skinned and I speak Spanish. I'll pretend to be a native. Okay, got
Absolutely, you. Yeah, you definitely will blend in. I mean, there's no doubt. Demetrius definitely going to blend in. So
I know that, Terry. I'm bad. I know some Spanish. Don't get me wrong, but not like these youngsters, right? And Pioneer says, laugh out loud. It must feel good to have the money to fly all around the globe, sitting on the beaches and going back to California to chill with your parents. Well, I got to go see my dad. You know, he's in California, and it's been since November, I think, since I've seen him. So yeah, I go see my dad. I actually had a ticket that I need to use by June. So that just kind of came in handy. I was supposed to go somewhere last year, it didn't pan out. So I have that ticket. Not rich at all, not yet. And let's see here. Tip Talks, you laughing, and Terry says, laugh my ass off. No way, Donovan. I'm a black sis, born and raised in what is that? What's SE?
Southeast DC.
Okay, you got it. And I speak Spanish fluently. Laugh out loud. And Don says, no, 2 old nickels going down there with our old what? Our old ass retrofitted game. Yeah.
Retrofitted game. The game that hey, it worked in the 90s. It should work now.
Terry says, contrary to popular belief, more black women are daddy's girls than they want to let on. I know I'm a daddy's girl. My sister and I are daddy's girls. We will catch a case over our daddy. Okay, believe that.
Yeah, their dad told me to date Demetrius' sister. I must be fit to walk among men.
Stupid. And Prime says, I really want to see your father on the show one day. I'll be interested just to sit and listen to him for a couple of hours. You know, when I go to California, I try to set that up. So I'll talk to him. If you see he wants to come on here. So anyway, y'all. And the last question goes to Mona. Says, know this queen, Ahmadiyya Shakira has had to sue YouTube a few times for taking her channel down, blocking people from being able to make comments for her, you might want to look into a lawyer on that.
Well, let me say this real quick. That's kind of strange, because how do you sue somebody for YouTube isn't a government entity, it's a private entity. So I don't know how she would win a case like that. They can restrict anybody they want. It's their platform.
Just adhere to the rules. If you want to use the platform until we, get the strength to get our own stuff, we need to adhere to the rules. It's just really kind of that simple. Donnie says Puerto Rico was heck of fun. DR should be off the chain. I seen Caliente.
Puerto Rico is nothing compared to the DR, because remember, Puerto Rico is a United States territory, so it's like being in the United States, even though it's exotic and stuff like that. But if you've never been to the DR, brothers, that's all I got to say.
I'll let y'all know how it was. I'll be the judge of that. And Leather Electric Cars, how you doing? He says, I hope all is well. Super busy working lately. Well, don't work too hard, but I understand we got the work to make the money. Pioneer says, thank you, King and Queen. Great show as usual. So we're going to get out of here. We love and appreciate y'all. If you guys want to, we have a Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. Thank y'all, members, and those of you guys who do donate to the super chat and all of that. We love and appreciate you. Also like to say big giant thank you to Marcus Guyton for everything you do behind the scenes and making the show go further on Facebook. Donovan and I will be traveling, I think, Tuesday evening. Well, we're never live on Tuesday, but we'll do, I guess we'll podcast or something, and we'll put it up there.
Yeah, I leave tomorrow.
Yeah, Donovan leaves tomorrow, and then we'll do Wealth Wednesdays with Walter. If y'all like Wealth Wednesdays, please show up. Walter is very entertaining, but he is very knowledgeable as well in giving us the information we need financially so we can, do better in life.
I'm just going to say this before we go. Ladies, I'm going down to the DR. Yes, I am bringing the infamous Speedos. So you might want to tune in some of the videos we're going to be putting up.
And I just want to say that I have checked the weather in the DR. It is going to be in the 80s and the 90s. So don't believe that shrinkage stuff Donovan likes to tell y'all when he puts his Speedos on. The water is going to be very warm there. So you might want to bring an extra pair of socks, Donovan. So anyway, y'all, we will see y'all Tuesday, or y'all see us on Tuesday, and then we'll be back again live on next Sunday. And Wednesday be live on Wealth Wednesdays. We'll probably put Donovan in on the chat, give him something to do.
If I'm not busy.
Yeah, he's allegedly gonna be busy. I'll be the judge of that. I'll let y'all know if Donovan just talking stuff. So anyway, talk about he got a mamacita down there. We gonna see. Anyway, y'all, we'll see y'all later. Peace.